Hello!
Hey.
How's everyone doing? This is going to be a super chill painting stream in the morning. Myself and Ben are in, and it's this guy. It's this guy.
It's this guy. And that guy.
And this guy. And yeah, we're just going to be painting some miniatures. This is a nice painting stream. A lot of other people are recovering, I think, from the party that was in the office.
Looked like a late one, didn't it?
Yeah, it turned into a pretty late one, so thanks, man.
Tissue.
And yeah, so quite a few people are in, so it's a pretty quiet Yog Towers. If you've been watching Office Cam, you've probably seen that.
You've witnessed the madness last night. Well, I don't blame them. We hit $3 million of donations.
And 3.1 million now, as it is to say. So thank you very much, everybody who's been doing that.
Yeah.
If you've not picked it up already, do check out Humble Bundle. I can never remember the link now.
It's humblebundle.com/Yogscast _ just search Yogscast Humble.
You got it. It'll be in chat anyway, so go and check that out. If you've not picked it up already, do so. There's not really, I mean, there is a goal. I'm not expecting to hit it. I don't know if you are, man.
Well, what's the goal? So Steve set a goal for us. 84% of the way there already. In just 2 minutes.
Thank you so much. You guys are so generous. No. What's that? Oh, okay, it's pi. There you go. That's the donation.
That's a good
3.14. Yeah.
Well, yeah, perfect.
There you go. So
pi. More pie for the pie god.
Peas pie. So if we can try and hit that, that'd be awesome. But it's going to be a pretty chill stream. Just doing a bit of miniature painting, just to fill in a bit of time for this morning. It's also just a nice, convenient time for me to get some painting done.
Well, it's a nice excuse, isn't it? I don't get a lot of time for painting these days. So if I can do it at work,
even better.
That's the best.
Yeah. So
what are you working on? I'm rummaging paints out of a box.
That's fine. I am going to be working on my ghost keel, my Tau, because I've not touched my Tau in months. I kind of got 500 points done for sort of when we were all in the office hype of new Warhammer. And then I didn't actually get any further than that. So I'm going to start working on my Tau, my ghost keel.
Can we see the stuff you've already got painted?
Yeah, so I'll throw that up quickly. So I've basically got 3 battle suits. And I've kind of gone for, I want to go with like a Farsight Enclave. So if you're familiar with Warhammer 40,000, these are like the Renegade Tau, the cool Tau.
That's totally out of focus, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Steve's got it set down to focus down in here. There you go.
Ah, there we go.
He's doing that in there.
So you got your standard red guys. They're like your.
They're going to be they're like my normal guys, my elites. And then I've got this guy as the commander. He was a Forge World miniature that I've kind of done a little bit of kit bashing with, just because I hate the ethereals, because the stupid blue prophets look dumb and I don't like them. So I kind of made like
their fishman faces.
Their fishman faces, I just really don't like them at all. Ethereals are stupid. And then I've got just a normal unit of Fire Warriors over here as well, which are just normal, boring dudes. And then that's it. And then Steve's rushing in already.
It's all right.
He's coming in to fix it.
Getting his focus on.
Getting the focus on. What about yourself there, Ben? What are you thinking? You were deciding what you wanted to do.
I'm trying to decide. I've got I got a million projects on the go at the moment. But people have probably already seen my Dark Angels.
Yeah.
If you watched the Games Night 40k battle.
These are so well painted.
Already seen these guys. So we've got dark green Space Marines.
The Doghouse.
Here's my guy with the banner. He's pretty cool. Oh, it's a reverso camera. There you go. And I got this is my favourite model.
This is the conversion, yeah.
So he looks like a Dark Souls guy or something. Like he's got the giant shield, the giant sword, and the hood.
It's
and
very
just
Templar, isn't it? Like
very
Knight
nice
Crusader Templar. Yeah, it's
I like
awesome.
him a lot. So he's made out of a Primaris Lieutenant. So he's actually this guy. This miniature. I bought another one of him, and then I swapped his arms and heads. Gave him the hood from another manufacturer. This sword is from a Deathwing Terminator.
Oh, nice.
Get the giant, and the shield is from a Storm Shield from a Deathwing Terminator.
Did you have to sculpt the hand, or was it already kind of positioned?
No, the hand was already positioned. I had to do the wrist.
Oh, okay.
I sculpted the wrist out of green stuff, and then put some lines in to make it look like that sort of black tubing.
The tubing that they have.
Oh, zoom in.
There you go.
See the wrist? That's why the wrist looks a little bit broken and weird.
To be honest, though,
I had to do it myself.
Yeah, it looks fine.
But he's all right. I think he looks cool.
Yeah, it's
very,
super cool.
very impressed with him. Yeah, and then what else is left? We've got the captain. These are all kind of converted. I've done alternate head, like the loincloth, the head, and all the shoulder pads, and this sword. This
are
is
those
like a Dark
pre-done
Angel
heads?
sword.
Did you buy them, or have you used Space Marine
that
ones
comes
and stuff?
from a Dark Angel's character. The heads are from another the hooded heads.
Yeah.
Are from they're like resin from a third-party manufacturer. They're like generic knight.
Just to fit the Primaris ones, or are they normal?
I don't know. They're literally just hooded armored helms. I guess you could use them for knights. You could use them for Space Marines. You can use them for anything.
Okay.
And
they just happen to be
because they're not allowed to say use these for Space Marines.
No, yeah.
So they
There's
get
so many.
sued.
I've seen quite a few. Like when I was looking at some Tau stuff, there's a lot of dodgy Tau miniatures out there. Like a third party sexy Tau girl in a mech suit kind of thing. And I was trying to find some good because they do some nice skimmers. But yeah, they all call them like mech alien and stuff like that. Like they have to use the default names.
Exactly.
I like the.
So these guys, I did the shoulder pads for them because I wanted the Dark Angel symbol because I cannot free paint that. So I could emboss thing to paint over, and then I really like the studded shoulder pads from the Heresy era Marines.
They're like what? Mark? I'm trying to.
From Mark 6 armor.
Mark 6.
So it shouldn't be on this. This is like Mark 10, but I just think they look cool.
Yeah.
But the annoying thing is because these Space Marines are from the starter set, their shoulder pads don't come off. They're not like separate miniatures. So I had to get clippers and clip literally off my whole army of like 30 Marines. So I had to clip off 30 shoulder pads.
At least then you're replacing it, and then you can't see it because it's so hidden.
Mess.
Yeah, the mess of the cut off piece. Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So the thing is, I finished that army.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of torn now. I've got two projects. Either I was going to do Space Marine Scouts.
Just add a bunch
of so I could finish off the Scouts I started, which are like baby Space Marines in training.
Well, that could boost up your points as well, like if we wanted to do any bigger point games, like in the office, like Games Night and stuff as well, I guess.
Yeah. Or the alternative is your Star Wars Armada.
King of Space Boats.
King of Space Boats. So the spaceships in Armada, they come pre-painted. So see here, like the big ones, bam, Star Destroyer, already painted,
Pre-done.
Done out of the box. But the fighters don't come pre-painted. They're just like that. So I've started painting my own. Which,
nice.
You get that? Got the old Y-wings.
This looks quite,
there we
go.
There we go.
There you go.
So I've got loads of these that need painting. So I've got these TIE bombers that need doing. They're still black.
Can you, with the Rebel ships as well, I imagine it's easy, you could split the squads up by just painting them, like you can have like blue for the blue in the X-Wings and stuff like that. Like you've seen some of the newer models, like in the newer movies, you can have like the blue stripes and stuff.
So that's what I do, like my A-Wings have all got like red stripes down. But if you wanted to do like a special character, like a cool A-Wing pilot, you can do it like a blue stripe or a green stripe.
That on the board, that one is that one.
That's the cool guy.
That's useful.
Exactly. Nice. So yeah, I think I'm going to start with these TIE bombers.
Nice.
That'll be a quick, easy job.
I'm going to ask you a favour.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have, I can't remember the name of it, it's a base paint for grey. It's like Mechanicus grey or something like that.
Well, all my paints are old school.
Oh,
I don't have any of the new paints.
Schools.
So I've probably got like a Codex grey.
Yes, I think that's probably going to be. It's just that the one I brought Storm Vermin.
I've got medium sea grey.
This will do.
Is that too light?
No, it should be fine.
Or you can have...
If there is a darker one.
It's a green grey. You don't want a green grey.
If not, I can always try and run out. I'm sure somebody's got. Like Duncan will probably have one. I can.
Oh yeah, he's doing Space Wolves. He must have greys. He must have all the greys. Oh, this one. There you go. You could have.
Oh, that's perfect.
Super dark grey.
That's perfect. Thank you. Oh, my first Vallejo paint as well. I've never used Vallejos.
And I'm gonna do a blue grey for my TIE bombers.
Oh, that's perfect. Perfecto.
Oh, so how long have you been painting miniatures for?
I have been, well, it was kind of like very typical kind of story for any kind of wargamer. I think I was, sort of 10, 12, 13 when I got into Warhammer, Games Workshop and awfully painting miniatures, just slapping paint on that was way too thick and everything else. And I was into it for a long time as a kid. Like we had Warhammer Club at school and me and my friends all played together. We'd go down the Games Workshop. We knew the staff quite well, so most Saturdays we were down there. But then I, fell out of it as I got a bit older and more into the D&D stuff as well. We moved on to that rather than Warhammer.
Yeah.
And then when I started working at Jagex, when I was working on RuneScape, most of my team, we were in a customer services team and we'd all work late shifts, so we got to know each other really well. Found out that most of those guys had the same story, like they were Warhammer kids that had stopped playing when they were younger and stuff like that. And we all had the thing of like, we're adults now and we have disposable income.
Yeah.
Do you know what the best thing for us to get involved in?
Something really expensive.
So we all started collecting again, and I got back into it there, and I started enjoying the painting so much more. And now I actually find it as like my little relaxation thing. I like the microcosm of it. Like you just focus on this one thing that you're doing, and sort of everything else kind of gets blotted out, and you just kind of get enveloped into this one thing. Well, that's for me anyway.
I like to watch TV while I paint. Well, not really watch TV, but have
something on in the background.
Have something on, like have Netflix on or an audio book or
something,
so that because I get a bit bored.
Yeah.
I used to hate painting. I used to love playing the games.
Yeah.
But hated painting. So I would just sometimes get a spray paint. Like if for example I was doing Dark Angels, I would just spray them all green.
Yep.
And then if I felt really, really like
enthused,
I would like paint all their guns red. And then that would be it. Just so that they didn't look total garbage. Well, they still look total garbage, but they looked a hell of a lot better than unpainted models.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
But as I learned how to actually do the painting, and be not shit at it, I got a lot more enjoyment out of it. Well, I think I just got so frustrated that I'd spend hours on something and it would still look garbage.
Yeah, it would look poo. Yeah, I think that's the thing though, isn't it? It's the same with anything. Like the second that you get good at something, you kind of start getting the enjoyment out of it, whether it's like, hardcore into a certain game or hardcore into a hobby and stuff like that. As soon as you kind of understand how it works, you can start to kind of, you get that kind of...
you can try out new techniques, you can like practice stuff.
And you get that reward, that kind of that
pride.
Feeling of, the pride, exactly, of like, hey, I made this and I'm sort of really happy with it.
It looks pretty cool.
I remember the time when I felt that my painting really stepped up and leveled up was I bought a heavy metal master guide, master painting guide. And it came with like a nice set of brushes and some proper medium and stuff like that. Because I had never really known any of the proper techniques and stuff. And I started just kind of following some of the things in that, like, super thin layers, mixed blending, that sort of thing. And I just, it just kind of opened up my eyes. I was like, oh my God, this is, I'm actually doing a good job here.
Yeah.
And after that, I've just really sort of enjoyed the craft of it. There's actually quite a few, because I occasionally do painting streams on my own Twitch, and there's quite a few other people that do miniature painting on Twitch as well, and watching them I've been learning quite a lot as well. There's a lady called M who used to work for Games Workshop. She used to be like one of their official painters for like the magazine White Dwarf and stuff, and she does Twitch streams now.
Oh, that's
and watching
cool.
her you can learn tons just the way that she does certain things. She's been painting up all the new Necromunda at the moment. Doing all the Escher gangs, and she's been like freehanding all the leopard print and stuff like that. Which is
if you're a very good painter, those Escher models are like a
so
playground.
nice.
You can do all the crazy hair and tattoos and like leopard print or whatever. They're just bonkers.
Yeah. Have you played it at all, the new Necromunda?
No. I read through the rules last week, but I haven't had a chance to actually play it yet.
No, I've not sat down to do it yet.
But it's interesting. Like I loved playing Necromunda as a kid. Like it was one of my favourite games. We ran like 3 or 4 different campaigns.
Yeah.
It was the best.
Was it the world that kind of like really drew you in, or was it the actual game itself?
It was the after game leveling up.
Okay, yeah.
So it's one of those games where which probably seems like, with the way computer games are now, this is going to seem really tame. But back in the day, there was nothing quite like it, where you'd play your game on the tabletop, and then afterwards, all your injured guys, you'd roll on the table and see what injuries they got. And they got like blinded in one eye or lost an arm. Sometimes they died. And then all the guys who'd done something good would like level up and get experience.
You could get their skills and stuff.
You'd learn skills and increase their stats, and like that had just never happened in gaming.
Tabletop.
Well, not that I'd played. That was my first experience with it.
Yeah, because it was basically like bringing in RPG elements, really, wasn't it? It was kind of like almost adding that sort of tabletop D&D sort of element to the war game. But for most of us, because I was the same thing. I got into Mordheim. I didn't play Necromunda, but I did Mordheim, and
which was a fantasy version.
It was exactly the same, but it was just fantasy. And again, it had that same sort of like, oh my god, like this fighter lost an eye, and like now they've got their stats have changed.
And your gang leader, you get really attached to them, and you're like, oh, this guy's a cool guy. Look at all the things he can do. Yeah. And it's like playing the modern XCOM.
Yes.
You do your battle, and then afterwards, okay, let's get the battle out of the way. I want to see what I level up and like what's the new gun I've got after this battle.
It's nice that they've kept all of that in for the new Necromunda as well, because like there was kind of a thing where Games Workshop did a bunch of their older games, but they just re-released the old games without any changes. Whereas this one, they've actually seemed to have done... Yeah, I was worried
because the old Necromunda has got like serious balance issues and like some really outdated game mechanics. So when I heard they were remaking it, I was like, oh, are they just going to re-release it with fancier models? Because I'm not interested in playing a game from the 90s. Yeah. It's like if they did a remastered computer game and didn't change the gameplay at all, and it still used like arrow keys instead of WASD. like okay, you've updated the texture pack, but for fuck's sake,
come on. Yeah. Yeah. So no, it's good that they've been doing that. God, think about games that do that. Like I remember some friends of mine. We tried to go back and play the old Resident Evils. A couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I bet they haven't aged well.
God, it's the tank controls. I just can't get used to them. Like the idea of like you can move your gun up and down, and then you have to turn left to right and then go forward. Like it was doing my head.
Oh, it must be like playing GoldenEye as well. Like, that was a great game at the time, but I couldn't go back to that with a one analog stick.
Well, it had such a weird controller as well. Like the old N64. Like the controller was so weird.
I want to see the hands of the man who invented that. The guy who was like, "This is perfect," but he's got like just a mutated claw arm, like 3 different hands coming out of one arm. I don't know. Like that guy's a monster. Why did he subject
Some
us
people
to that?
love that controller though. Like,
I loved it at the time. I got used to it.
That's the thing.
It's like Stockholm syndrome, though, right?
I think so. There's
like they've gone through the brutality of learning how to use it, and now they have to love it. They're so invested.
Like, I have to love this thing. You don't understand. It took me so long.
Now it doesn't hurt me anymore to use.
Oh God.
It's like a pimp.
Oh man, the pimp of the controller world.
Yeah. Oh, who loves you, baby?
No one.
No one, but I do. It's just a controller. I love you. No one else does.
Your weird malformed hands that you've developed.
Nobody love you now, baby. Look at your hands.
Well, they've because I know that this is a completely weird tangent and boring topic, but
brilliant. Put it on the live stream.
Yeah, I know, absolutely perfect for a painting live stream. But like. Controller systems, like people like playing console games, the people that have like, they actually have controller settings, like different layouts. Who the fuck uses those? Like who actually goes in and goes like, oh, I can't possibly play with this button configuration.
Oh, I have to on all Nintendo games.
Really?
Well, the ones that allow it, which is quite rare. Because Xbox and PlayStation, the cancel or go back button.
Oh no, that's true.
Is the right hand button. But on Nintendo's, it's the left hand.
It's the left hand button,
which is usually the accept or go. So I was playing Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And I was constantly like confirming when I meant to exit or exiting when I meant to confirm, and it drove me mental.
I'm having that at the moment. Actually, I'm playing the Switch for the first time because me and Nina bought a Switch, and I've just bought Xenoblade Chronicles on it because I've not played a JRPG in years, and I just fancied it. I thought, I'll give it a go.
You have to justify it, man. It's a popular game.
I don't know about that. It's a very obscure game, but it's weird. Yeah, that I've had that exact problem of the cancel thing being switched around. But like on a PlayStation game, like if you're playing Xbox or a PC or something like that, and you're using who the fuck goes in and is like, oh, I want to play in Southpaw configuration. What the fuck is that?
Well, it's left-handers.
Oh, is that really?
That's what Southpaw means.
Oh shit! There you go. I've learned something
for
today.
Lefties.
Those fucking lefties. Fucking left idiots.
They should just learn to live in a right-handed world.
They should learn to live in a right-handed world, especially like Chris Trott.
I don't think they should, man. They're poor bastards. Like, they can't even use scissors, Like, have pity on them.
That's it. I just want to get all the hate from all the left-handed fans in chat now. That's basically it. Nice.
Also, all the best miniature painters I know are lefties.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently, like, there's a theory, like, statistically speaking, left-handed people are more likely to be good at creative jobs.
Really?
Like, all like of graphic design, you know, because 1 in 10 people are left-handed.
Yeah.
Like globally.
Oh, really?
But in like artistic and graphic design jobs, it's closer to 50%.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
So I don't know if there's any kind of genes there, or if they just feel so ostracized by society growing up in a right-handed school that they have to find this creative outlet. Who knows?
Who knows?
Is it cause or causality?
Yeah.
Oh, no, hang on, that's not what I'm looking for. Correlation does not equal causality. That's the one.
That's the one you're looking for. Nice. So have you been playing? What have you been playing, like wargame wise or tabletop wise?
I've been taking a break because I played just endless amounts of Star Wars Armada.
Well, yeah,
models I'm painting now
to get Spaceboat King,
to become the Spaceboat King, and then I took a break because I had played too much and there hasn't been any new releases for a while.
Yeah, well, we were talking about this, weren't we? Like Armada just seems to be super slow on the releases.
Yeah, because they only release once every 6 months.
Yeah.
And the last release just didn't impact the meta at all. It was like cool stuff, but nothing powerful or that changes up people's builds.
Yeah, nothing that you need to prepare for.
No, like it's not changed my strategy or my fleet build at all.
Yeah.
And when people bring the new stuff, I'm like, oh, brilliant. They brought the new stuff.
Smash!
So it feels like I haven't had a release for Armada for over a year. So I'm taking a break until the new stuff comes out, and then I'm going to furiously practice with the new stuff until May, when I go to World Championship in America.
In America. So because it's Thrawn, I know Thrawn's in the next
in it.
release.
Thrawn's fucking amazing.
Is he amazing? Do you think that you're going to adapt your build?
He was designed by the player who won Worlds last year. You get to make your own card.
And he chose Thrawn.
He chose Thrawn and made up the rules for Thrawn.
Good taste.
Thrawn's one of my favourites because I read the Timothy Zahn books in the 90s as a kid.
Yes.
Which were the best. There's a lot of shit expanded universe for Star Wars.
Yes.
But the Thrawn trilogy was the best at the time.
Absolutely.
And he was a great character, and they've revived him in Rebels, but I haven't seen a lot of Rebels, so I don't know if he's as good.
He's pretty good. So I'm actually a big fan of Rebels. I kind of the first season I was a bit sort of like, it's a bit kiddie, and then there is an episode where they kind of go, oh, you think this is a bit kiddie? Boom! And they kind of come in, and people get quite brutally killed.
Yeah, so I was the same. I was watching season 1. I was like, oh, this isn't for me, is it? And I finished the season, and then the last episode was pretty fucking cool, where Tarkin's comes up to the regular villains, who were just like Saturday morning kids cartoon villains, who were just failing to. They were incompetent.
Because they're super incompetent.
And so Tarkin just turns up and is like, yeah, you've been relieved. And his Sith henchman turns up and just executes them both with a lightsaber.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh shit!
And it is off screen. You're obviously not seeing violence because Disney, but it's still heavily implied that it's a pretty brutal death.
They've just both been decapitated.
Yeah, basically.
And you're like, oh shit, yeah, Tarkin, he means business.
Yeah.
And so that was a good run of 3 episodes where Tarkin and Vader just fucked everyone.
Causing problems.
But I haven't seen the new ones.
Yeah, so the new ones, it's been pretty good. So Thrawn was, I think, in season 3 he was introduced, and he was basically introduced to give them a good kicking. And obviously, he doesn't kill them all in the end. Like the main heroes are all going to be safe because it's kids' cartoon.
Yeah, because they want to make another season, right?
Yeah, and I think this is the last one. So season 4 is going to be the very last one. Wow. They've confirmed it. And there's definitely implications that not all the characters may necessarily survive or stay together. Good. So I think
anything can happen this season.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what they're implying. The only character that I think that we know is going to be safe is Hera Syndulla, because she's mentioned in Rogue One.
Well, they mentioned General Syndulla.
General Syndulla, yeah. So that could be the father.
It could be her dad. It could be someone with the same name.
It could be,
but you do see the ghost in Rogue One.
You do see the ghost, and you see Chopper, and so it's heavily implied that she's going to be okay. But I think that it's kind of building up that some of the other main characters might not necessarily turn out okay.
Well, I feel like the Jedi characters probably have to die off.
Yeah, well, this is
because Yoda says Luke is the last Jedi.
Exactly.
So they probably need to go out in style.
I think that what's going to happen is they're either going to get killed or they'll do that thing because it's a kids' cartoon where they're sent to the far reaches of the galaxy and they're not going to be important anymore. They're no longer relevant because they might have said that. And then a lot of expanded universe, there was like, oh, it turns out there was a Jedi on this planet. There's loads of them. Or you get people like Kyle Katarn who just magically find a Jedi fountain and become a Jedi.
Well, his dad was a Jedi.
His Jedi, yeah, that's true. What was it? It was what was the place called?
No, the fountain was because because I played all the Dark Forces games, I'm
You're the
in
expert.
on Kyle Katarn.
Yeah.
First game, he wasn't. He was just a rebel operative.
Yeah.
Second game, turned out his dad was a secret Jedi and left him a lightsaber and the power's within you, son.
The power's within you, son.
And so he went on a quest and spent the whole of Dark Forces 2 learning how to be a Jedi.
To be a Jedi, okay.
And then in the third one, he gives up his power. No, at the end of the second one, he gives up his powers.
That's it.
He goes to some kind of temple that sucks it out of him.
That's right, because this is the one I know. Is the third one is when he goes and he's like he fights the evil Sith, and then he's like, I need my powers back.
So he has to go back to the place where he gave them up and try to because it's this Valley of the Jedi where all the Jedi are like buried, and it's like a tomb world.
Yeah.
And it's full of Force, and all their ghosts like mingle into
so
this like super entity. So it's like seeped in the Force.
Yeah.
So I guess he just goes and gets it back.
He goes and gets it back. That's it. That's what I was trying to remember, the Valley of the Jedi. But yeah, so I guess so something will happen to the Jedi characters. But Thrawn so far has been done well. I think they've kept him true to the Timothy Zahn sort of ideas. So he's
strategic genius,
super strategic genius, but he's still got the art appreciation. He still very much respects the sort of rebel characters. He doesn't he respects them when they outwit him and stuff like that. He believes him as a cool character.
If he studied a nation's a race's culture and art, he would get a deeper understanding of their strategy and way of thinking.
Yes,
and that was how he was always able to
outthink everybody basically. Yeah. So they keep that in. They kind of change some of his plot points. So he, instead of building the stealth ties, he builds the TIE Defender. And he's building all this. So in the new Star Wars canon, the TIE Defender is basically built by Thrawn because he wants a way to match the Rebel pilots' fighters.
Yeah.
Because he basically points out quite obviously the Rebels keep kicking the shit out of our fighters.
Out of our terrible TIE fighters.
Yeah, we need to have better TIE fighters.
Yeah.
So that's kind of becomes a big crux of it.
Because he used to be involved, but not the head of it. Back in the day, did you ever play the old TIE Fighter X-Wing games?
No, that was the one thing. I love Star Wars, but I never had a decent PC when I was a kid, so I never got to play any of those classic kind of PC games.
LucasArts 90s PC games were the best.
That's the thing, is I missed
Star
out
Wars
on
game
all
used
of
to be
that.
Such a mark of quality. You'd be like, oh, it's a Star Wars game, I'll definitely get it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But then at some point, I guess LucasArts stopped making them and someone else took over. But then, they were really hit and miss for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, there was a real
dearth
of terrible Star Wars games that were just cashing in on the license.
Because I remember playing stuff because this is, I was a console kid. I remember playing some of the ones on N64 and stuff like that. But that was really my Star Wars gaming was whatever came out on the consoles, really. So I remember playing Shadow of the Empire on the N64.
Yeah.
Where you play as the bounty hunter guy. I can't bloody remember his name.
Dash Rendar.
Dash Rendar!
He was 90s Han Solo.
Oh my god, it was great.
Holy shit, Dash
slightly
Rendar.
grunge, long hair, leather Mad Max style jacket.
Yeah, he was kind of ridiculous.
He had a sassy droid friend. It was great. God, Dash Rendar. Because he had they really did try and make him he's Han Solo, but even cooler.
But cooler!
His ship, it's the same ship, but the next model up.
It's even better!
Yeah, it was so bad. Because he had the YT-2400, didn't he?
Yeah, so they wanted him to be the main protagonist of a new run of spin-off games, books, maybe even films.
And then just no.
And it was testing the waters for whether people would buy new Star Wars stuff. Because if Shadows of the Empire did badly, they might not have made the prequels.
Oh, really?
It was to test the waters on a low budget.
Oh, wow.
To see how much public interest there is
still there in the franchise.
So they did an audio drama, a novel, a TV thing, and the game. It was a big media push.
Shit, I did not know this.
But a proper feature film. And I guess it
must have sold well enough
because they did the special edition remakes of the original trilogy off the back of that. That was popular enough to lead into spending billions on making the prequels.
Fuck, damn. So basically, Dash Rendar, result of all evil in Star Wars.
But then if it had flopped, we might not have Star Wars today. They might have just never bothered reinvigorating it. And
that's true. I mean, that's the thing is everyone rags on the prequels, and yes, we all know that they're pretty garbage in most ways. But at the same time,
unless you like them, then it's fine.
Well, is it fine, Ben?
I'll secretly judge you, but
that's it. I will see. It's you can like what you like, but I am going to judge you if you say that Attack of the Clones is a good film. I am absolutely
going to question your mental capacity, but you like what you like.
To be honest, if people like Phantom Menace, I can understand there are certain bits which are cool and it kind of came out at the right time. I remember coming out the cinema deluding myself that it was good, like doing that thing of me and my mates coming out and going like, no, it was really good.
Was all right, wasn't it?
It was good.
There were lightsabers.
Yeah, like that fight, that was good.
Yeah.
Like that was.
Yeah, it took me like a couple of weeks to realise. Oh no, it is.
It was actually really awful. But you know, I can forgive Phantom Menace. I can forgive a little bit of Revenge of the Sith. Again, there's some good bits in it. But Attack of the Clones, what a
Oh, I'm glad you agree. I was chatting with Xylus yesterday on stream.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, Phantom Menace, worst one. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, you've seen Attack of the Clones.
It's so bad. Like, all the romance between Annie and Padme. Oh, my God.
The waves of disposable CGI people shooting at each other for no reason. Like, you cannot get invested in those battles at all.
It's so bad.
Anyway, we're probably over Star Wars. I could talk about Star Wars
for 3 hours.
Forever.
Yeah.
Literally, non-stop. You can just plug me in.
That's absolutely true.
And I'll just keep going.
Well, I think it's because the problem is there's so much like good Star Wars tabletop stuff out at the moment that I'm just on a massive Star Wars binge. Like, we were just looking at the Star Wars Destiny sort of previews that are coming out for like the new set.
Oh yeah, they look cool.
I'm really like Imperial Assault's finally got its app as well.
Yeah, that came out the other day.
Came out of nowhere.
Well,
they announced it, and it was like, oh, it's going to be coming soon, and then like a week later,
suddenly,
it's here.
Yeah, I really want to play it because I've played it once and I didn't enjoy it because the missions are really hard and the Imperial player, like.
Were you the Imperial player or were you a player when you played it?
I was a player.
Okay, so because I've played it as the Imperial, and it has that problem.
The theory is that you're meant to be able to play it as a competitive game. Like the Imperial player gets to play, and the Rebel players team up to try and stop him, and it's like a 4v1.
It's horrible.
But in reality, those missions are so hard that if the Imperial player plays well and competently, he's going to smash the Rebel players every time.
I had it I remember I was teaching Trot and Smith the game. Because, you know, they love Star Wars, and we were playing a Star Wars RPG when I first moved to Bristol and stuff like that. And so, you know, got Imperial Assault, I was like, oh, this would be really cool, play it, ran it, and like the first turn, they just didn't, because when you're learning the game, the first mission in Imperial Assault has a time limit. It's like 6 turns. If they don't complete it in 6 turns, they lose. Yeah. And because they were still learning the game, they spent like 2-3 turns fucking around outside the little outpost.
Yeah.
And the first thing that you can do is, as soon as they step inside this building, the Imperial player, like a DM, can go, I'm going to lock the door and I'm going to spawn a turret right in front of you. And none of your friends can get to you and help you until they crack open the door. And
the door's so tough, it's going to take you like 2 turns to like break it down.
It's horrible.
It's brutal.
I just was like,
so
I just spawned the turret, that's all that happens. You know?
You have to really pull your punches to make it a fun game.
And that sucks the fun out of it.
Then you're basically being a GM.
Yeah.
Instead of a player.
And it's also, it kind of hands it to them as well. Like, you no longer present a real solid challenge. Yeah. Because if you have to hold back, you're not spawning the best units. And the Stormtroopers and that are just cannon fodder. They just get destroyed.
So, but now the app lets you play like 4 players against the app is the Imperial player basically.
Yeah.
And then that's a lot more fun. Then it's like a co-op gaming
against
experience.
The AI. Yeah, it's like XCOM and a bunch of those other games.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to trying that out.
Yeah, I've got a friend of mine. She's a comic artist. She does a lot of big comics. She did Doctor Who and Back to the Future and stuff like that in the UK. And her husband, he goes to LARP with me, Alex and Smith. They've been playing it each week, this week every night, and I've been asking them for updates. And they basically play it as a 2-player one, and he was saying, because he had the exact same problems with it that me and you did, because he played it as well. And he said it's fantastic. Like, you play it as a 2-player co-op game. You can play it with, so each player has like 2 characters, and it just feels like a nice little kind of sit in, play a little solo Star Wars
a bit of dungeon
campaign.
Crawling Star Wars
basically.
Cool.
It's just really fun. Like, the way it handles everything is really smooth. It also throws things that you don't expect. So like, he was playing it, and you can input like if you get extra packs and stuff. Oh yeah. So if you get like some of the extra character packs, and he'd never used his. He bought IG-99. 88, that's the one. Sorry, Star Wars people, that's a terrible faux pas. He bought that, and he'd forgotten about it, and he input it into the thing, and he'd never used it when he'd been playing as the Imperial player. And then they were playing a random mission, and he just pops out of the sky, and he's like, "Ha ha, motherfuckers!" pew, 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 pew. And it was like a genuine, like, fun moment. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So. No, there's tons of so much good Star Wars content. I still really want to play Rebellion as well, like after watching.
Oh, that's one game I have been playing a lot recently. Like my friend and I have got Star Wars Rebellion, which you might have seen me and Lewis play on the board games night.
Yeah.
And because we must have played it like 20, 30 times now, there's this really like intense meta developing. Like, we both know the sort of strategies the other one's going to use, and like we're trying to counter it. And that's my favorite kind of board gaming, when everyone playing has played it quite a few times, and you're all like on the same page.
Yeah.
And it's not, because most times you play a board game, half the people they've never played before and they're learning.
And you can never really get into the meat of it.
Yeah.
It's actually why I really like playing Sheriff now, because I've played it so many times with so many people in the office. Almost everybody knows how to play it. And you can get some really funny sort of like plays out of that, because nobody has to like go, hang on, what do I do again? That's one of the killers of board games, unfortunately. Is when you get that.
Or because it takes so much longer. If you don't know how, like if you really know a game well, you've planned out your moves while the other person is doing stuff. So the game flows really quickly. But if you've got a new person, usually they'll wait till their turn, and then they're like, oh, okay, how do I move?
Yeah. What actions can I do again?
And if there's 2 or 3 people in that spot, then the game just takes so long.
Yeah.
But, well, it's got to be done. Everyone's
got to learn. Like, I really want to learn to play Twilight Imperium. Like, I know that that's a big game, and that's the kind of game where everybody does need to know what they're doing.
Yeah, like if it's everyone's first game of Twilight Imperium, you're looking at like 12 hours.
12 hours, yeah.
It's insane. It's like the longest game I've ever played.
Yeah, because there's quite a few. There's a few other like board gaming channels that are mainly in London, and they've all been sort of like, we've got like a little Twitter DMs thing that's going on. And they've been talking about doing like a big Twilight Imperium game, and they all know how to play it. And I'm like, I'd love to play. God, I'm going to get destroyed.
Oh man, I can give you like a coaching session.
Yeah,
I've played a lot of
Rocky
Twilight
montage.
Yeah,
we're gonna need a montage.
Just like be sliding his spaceships across the board. I am Tiger. Roll the dice.
Just like drawing cards, like looking at them. That's a montage.
That was basically what we did in Legends of the Planeswalker with Lewis.
That was still one of the funniest videos I think that's been out this year.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Being a background extra in that was incredibly hilarious. Watching poor Matt Castle trying to be a cool gangster in like a pimp hat.
Man, if you want to watch, Red Guy's
Red Guy
first YouTube debut.
God, yeah, people might not know that is Red Guy.
Go watch Legends of the Planeswalker and look out for Red Guy in the background.
He's the one in the hat.
Yeah, well, you can't miss him. He looks like Red Guy.
Yeah, that's true. He also acts like Red Guy. He's supposed to be like a cool gangster. He's like gangster Red Guy. Oh, yeah. I'd forgotten about that. That was very funny. It was very funny to watch being made as well.
Yeah, really awkward when people were like, can I get my bike out of the garage, please?
I forgot.
Fucking weirdos.
That was best. Like every now and then, just like people stopping to kind of. It was when the fake beatings were going on, and like we had like some poor lady just looking very concerned, like, oh my god, is somebody getting beaten down here? Should I say something?
There's a small Lebanese boy being assaulted.
It's the one thing of.
No, but she knew better than to cross the Black Lotus.
Oh,
gang.
exactly. She didn't come anywhere near us back then. The Black Lotus gang. So good. It's doing quite a lot with hat films. That often ends up being the case as well. Just people giving you odd looks, filming things in public. Oh, those crazy boys. Did you hear their song from last night?
I didn't. No, I was parenting last night.
Yeah, you were in full parent mode. It's like a concept album based on the story of a post-apocalyptic slough being saved by Elon Musk.
Oh wow!
Have you ever heard like the Christopher Lee
sort of slough, basically already post-apocalyptic. Right?
Well, the Slough becomes a megacity, so it is the only one that survives. But do you ever see like some of these like high concept albums by Christopher Lee where he like narrates scenes in between?
They're always super strange.
Yeah, that's kind of what they did.
Okay, right.
And Trott was having a whale of a time while he was making it. I've never seen him laugh so much.
Oh, amazing.
His own jokes.
I did like tune in briefly to check out, see if we'd hit 3 million.
Yeah.
And I saw everyone just go nuts on Party Cam.
Oh yeah.
I really missed out on the party.
No, I left. I wasn't feeling super well yesterday, so I left early. And I just kept getting texts from Nina of like, like this is happening.
Oh man, did you hear any stories of what went down?
No, I know that there's a clip of Nina downing like swigs out of a bottle of vodka, but I was later told that it was water. So she was tricking chat, I think.
Troll.
And Harry was being very protective of all the ladies there. He was just like, anytime he saw somebody drinking, he was like, you all right? Do you need somebody to walk you home? Like good guy Barry, basically.
He's a good guy.
And then they all went out drinking even afterwards as well, apparently. I heard that Art Kieran was getting very rowdy, as is his way.
Oh, that's his way.
Yeah, that's
for
his
a few
way.
drinks.
So it was all good.
At least he didn't do it on camera.
No.
He's dedicated himself to not making a tit of himself on camera.
We'll see. We'll see when karaoke comes around, because that's normally when Kieran goes full
lets
Kieran.
loose.
Yeah.
Beerin.
It'll be good to have old Sipsy and Terps back as well from their Hearthstoning.
Yeah, they did it. Apparently they got out of the room.
They got out of the room. Okay, good. Yeah. Well, apparently Trump's done loads of escape rooms, so I'm putting most of it down to him.
Right.
Not down to Turps
They
and
were
Sips.
there too.
Yeah, I think that might be the scenario. I could be wrong. Maybe they helped.
Maybe they hindered.
Have you done any escape rooms or anything like that?
No, they sound cool. I think
are
I'd
fun.
enjoy them. I just never got around to it.
There was a really good one in Bristol. Sadly, I think we were one of the last groups that went there. They actually were moving to Canada.
Oh.
And it was all like submarine themed, but it was done really well. Like the whole set was just super well built, and they had like a transition thing where you go into like a little mini submarine. And like they have it like rock a little bit and sort of move, and a little pressure gauge goes up to kind of simulate you going down, and then obviously they just open a different door and you go in a different room. But it was really well done, and they're actually, the owner of it was a Yogscast fan. He was a massive
cool.
Hat Films and Kim fan, and so when we get there, we walk in, and this guy had a proper sort of like double take, like I have to do my job, but
I also want to fan out on you guys.
I want to just be like chatting away, which was really sweet. But it was really fun. I think like I'd love to see. God, it'd be so funny to see like the TTT crew do one, like Duncan and Lewis and Xylus arguing over them would be very funny.
That'd be amazing.
Because you do get that proper sort of like, I think it was me and Trot were just arguing over this. It wasn't even related to the locker room.
Right.
It was like we found like these series of pictures in like an album.
Right.
And me and Trot were convinced that they meant different things. I was like, no, look, this relates to this thing over there. And he was like, no, it's this thing. Like it relates to Morse code because look, there's like little dots and pips.
Did it turn out it had nothing to do with it?
It was a red herring the whole time. The whole thing was a red herring. And we spent like a good 20 minutes arguing about it while everybody else did stuff. It was great. And I can just see that sort of thing driving everyone absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it's just like a more intense version of like that Sherlock Holmes thing we did the other day.
Yes.
I want to do some more of that.
The consulting detective.
Yeah, although it didn't do super well on views. Like people were not so keen on the old.
It's
Sherlock
a tricky
Holmes
one.
Murders.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because it is a really fun game, but I think it's maybe something a bit, I don't know.
Not gamey enough.
Not audience-y, yeah, gamey enough. Yeah, maybe.
Because a lot of comments were just like, oh, you're just reading a book.
Just
books.
Books.
Books are for nerds.
Speaking of books being for nerds,
Yeah.
are you still audiobooking the old Brandon Sandersons?
Yeah, well, I finished the first two. I did,
nice.
The Way of Kings and Radiance.
Yeah, Words of Radiance.
Words of Radiance, that was it.
Nice.
And I'm having a break before I jump into Oathbringer, because I only just finished it literally the week Oathbringer came out. And I've just done, oh my God, I've just done like two 1,500-page books.
Yeah, very heavy, lore-y, sort of
pretty intense
books. Yeah.
So I'm having a little break.
It's well deserved.
And then I'll jump in. But I might just wait, because the graphic audio do like a radio play version.
Yeah, you were telling me about this, like, and it's like fully produced, right?
It's fully produced, so they've got a different voice actor for every character.
Yeah.
And then they put in like music cues and sound effects, and if there's a battle,
they have like ambience.
There's like ambient battle noises in the background, and
so cool.
The music really like ups the the experience.
Well, I imagine it makes it just a little bit easier to listen to as well, because I struggle a little bit with audiobooks. I kind of find myself like just not getting into them as much, and I imagine that music might be like a really good way of kind of just keeping.
Definitely makes it more dramatic.
Yeah.
It felt really cheesy when I first started. I was like, oh, I don't know about this. It's like listening to a radio play, like
a Radio 4, sort of The Archers.
Yeah, exactly. But after about an hour of it, I was hooked, and then I couldn't imagine going back, because now these characters have these voices.
Yeah.
Even
if you do read it, you'll read it in those voices anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was another thing. Another problem I have reading like big fantasy books with lots of characters.
Yeah.
Is I can't pronounce any of the names. So I'm just like, okay, he's the guy whose name begins with K.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the guy whose name begins with A. And then if there's two people with similar A names, I'm like, oh, I'm lost.
I'm never going to remember you guys.
Whereas obviously in an audiobook, like I can just recognize their voice.
Yeah.
And then
do they do quite regional accents, or are they all fairly American, or?
No, they were mostly English, I think.
Okay.
Which always works better in fantasy.
Yeah.
For me.
Although it is interesting, so apparently I was reading something from Brandon Sanderson, and this will mean nothing to the audience, but unless you've read these books. But apparently the Colons, like Adeline and Dalinar and that, they're Asian. They're of Asian descent. Like the way, if you go back and read the descriptions, they are kind of done that, because they make a big deal about having black hair, and blonde hair being really rare amongst them and stuff like that. And apparently it is like they are.
I
of
thought
like
these Shen were like sort of Asian.
That's the thing. The Shen are more normal white Western. That's the thing. I think they throw. That's not what I meant. But
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
That sounded really bad. Don't take me on that. That's going to get clipped now.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're meant to be just like white Western characters. I think.
Okay, that's interesting.
This is something I read. This could be a complete fabrication, and I'm going to sound like an idiot, but that's what I read. And then, because obviously you get a lot of the other different types, like all the different nations are, different ethnicities and things like that. But I've just finished Oathbringer. Me and Smith were talking about it in the office yesterday.
Oh, no
we made sure that nobody was around. I'm not going to give any spoilers here. Yeah. It is definitely, the only thing I will say is very much like most of Brandon Sanderson's books. It's like half a book is like world building and posing questions and like, oh, this is very interesting. And then the second half of the book is like, now cram in all of the amazing things.
All this shit's happening. Oh my God.
That's very much the case with Oathbringer as well.
Yeah, because like the first book, Way of Kings, takes a long time to get into.
It does. It was a bit of a thing.
You don't even meet the main character until like a third of the way into the book.
Yeah, it's like the first like 2 point of view characters. Well, yeah, you're not with them for a very long time, basically, and then it all changes up, and you switch perspectives, and it goes to different characters.
But once you get in, once the world's established and you understand what's going on, it gets really, really.
Well, because I had the thing of because I loved Mistborn, which was one of his earlier books, and you got into that, and then I started reading Stormlight, and I was like, this is good, but it's very ploddy, and there's a lot going on. I'm not sure. It's not as good as. And then the more I've read it, the more I've come to enjoy this one, actually. It just took a little bit more time. And he even said that himself, because he does like creative writing talks at universities.
Oh yeah.
And I've been listening to quite a few of them, because they're very good for world building, like D&D and RPGs and stuff as well. And he says it himself. He says, like, I've built up a career. I can do this. I can spend a first half of a big epic book.
Because he's got people who will read it, who trust him.
And the publishers know that as well. And the publisher's just like, yeah, we'll publish your book.
But you couldn't do your first novel like that, could you?
And that's what he says, is like, you can't do that as your first novel. But like, once you build up a reputation, then you can. So he kind of knew what he was doing when he first did it, which kind of shows you a lot of balls, because it obviously shows it's more of a passion project rather than, because if he hadn't done that, it might have...
He's just so prolific as well, though, isn't he? Because like these books are enormous, but he's writing other series.
Yeah, he writes like 2 young adult books, and he's working on like sequels to his other series and things like that as well. Well, he said that because he makes a joke about like he always says he doesn't write fast, everyone laughs. And then he says he just writes every day. He writes like a decent amount every single day. Whereas he says that a lot of other authors that he knows,
they'll have a binge and
they'll
then a
basically
break.
They'll binge for like they'll spend a day going crazy, and then they'll take a day or 2 off and things like that. So
everyone's got their own style, I guess.
But he's definitely become one of my favourite authors. Fantasy authors. I remember I started reading him years and years ago before I actually was with the Yogs. After a friend of ours recommended him. Very, very good. And he spawned like a whole era of new writers as well. Like they call them the Sanderson era writers.
Really?
Because they either attend his like writing lectures,
right,
or they write in similar sort of styles. This kind of heavy magic system. Yeah, rules-based magic system. Very
that's the best way to do it. Like,
I think
because if you just have magic and you don't explain it, it can just solve any problem at any time. Like,
exactly.
It's hard to have tension when you think, well, the wizard will just turn up and fix it.
Well, this is it, and it's so fascinating listening to these talks that he does, because he talks about this, and he basically says, like, if you don't have a hard rules magic system, your magic isn't really allowed to solve problems, because there's no, the reader just feels Deus Ex Machina, right? And he uses Gandalf as
Gandalf's
a
great example of like, what can Gandalf do? Who the fuck knows? Whatever he needs to do, it feels like.
And that's exactly it. Like, he makes this point, like, Gandalf can do whatever he needs to do at the moment to create the sense of wonder that Tolkien was trying to create. Because if you actually look, Gandalf's magic doesn't really solve problems. The only times it does is when he foreshadows it by saying, I'm going to come and solve this problem in 4 days, like look for me on the setting of the 5th day or whatever, and that's when he turns up to save the day with his glowing staff. He doesn't do any magic.
But because we don't know, he does a bit of magic. He like frees the Rohan King from the Saruman's spell.
Exactly, yeah.
He defeats a Balrog.
But then, even then, that's all. Do you even see that? I can't remember in the books if you see
it in the film.
You see it in the film. I don't know if in the books if that's like a detailed chapter. So his magic does stuff, but that's not always related to the main story of the game.
No, but because you don't know the limits of his power, you spend a lot of time thinking, well, why doesn't Gandalf just fix this?
Exactly, yeah. And that's one of the problems with the book in my, I love Lord of the Rings, I love what it did for fantasy, but it's kind of flawed in that sense in that, as a narrative structure, there's so many questions, like why don't the Eagles just fly Frodo and Sam to Mordor? And the answer is because that would be a boring story.
Yeah. But how much suspension of disbelief do you need?
Can you
because
have?
like
exactly.
Hitchcock said, why don't people just call the police in horror films?
Yeah.
Because that's boring.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Yeah.
That would be a boring film, but
it also takes away that sense of realism.
There's a limit to where you can just go like, okay, these guys are just stupid now. I'm not invested in what happens to them because they're just stupid.
Yeah.
And they're not real people.
Yeah, and I think that like you look at like movies like Hitchcock said that, but then you look at like Alien, and they take away that problem, and so it makes everything so much more tense.
It's amazing how few like thriller or horror films actually try to make their characters act like believable human beings. Like in Aliens, the second one, every decision those Marines make makes sense at the time with the information they have.
They have all the command structure in place. Like when Gorman's leading them, they're listening to him and he doesn't know what he's doing, so they fuck up a lot.
He seems kind of believable. He seems
he's
like
a young lieutenant.
an inexperienced officer who's panicking.
Yeah.
And then once he's gone,
and Ripley takes over
everything,
in charge.
even they still make the wrong moves, but it makes sense. They're the moves you could believe human people making.
Yeah.
But then you look at like Prometheus or the other one that came out after, Covenant.
Yeah.
You just think, well, they're only doing that because the script says they have to do it.
Exactly.
No human being would make that decision in this situation.
Well, it's in Prometheus, isn't it? It's the woman being chased and she could just move to the side, or like the guy who can just move to the side instead of being crushed by the thing.
Yeah.
And it's just stupid. Like, I think Alien and Aliens are wonderful examples of that kind of narrative structure of believable characters in an unbelievable setting. And that's something which a few films rarely get these days.
I guess they just don't think it's important.
I mean,
because it's not hard. No. Like they're just not prioritizing it.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it depends on the movie, I guess, as well. Like superhero movies, I don't necessarily feel that you need that as much. In Guardians of the Galaxy, it's almost like I kind of want to see them doing like Thor Ragnarok. You kind of want to see them doing crazy shit. Like it's nice if it makes sense, but at the same time, I also just kind of like the spectacle.
That's true, but you're not going for tension in those films. You're going for spectacle and fun.
Yeah. Whereas in horror,
you don't need it so much.
You need tension.
Yeah, and you can only have tension if you're invested in the characters. You care what happens to them, and you believe that they're not brain dead.
Yeah, they're not good. They're actually trying their best to survive and not just follow the script. Yeah,
that's why I'm not into the new Star Trek.
Oh really? I've not watched 3 or 4,
but then I was just like, people are just doing things because the script says they have to do it.
Oh really? That's a shame. I've not watched any of it.
Disappointed.
Because I've watched Star Trek. I used to watch it quite frequently, like when I was a teenager growing up. Like my mum is a closet nerd. She doesn't admit that she's a massive nerd. But she is.
Right.
And she would watch Sky One when I'd get home from school, and it would be like Star Trek Next Generation, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Voyager. Oh. And so that was weekday evenings in the Humes house. That's what was on TV. And so I kind of watched it alongside that. But I was never like massively into my Trek. But I was interested in the new one. But it's a shame to hear that they're just kind of.
Maybe it was just a bad episode, but
maybe
there was one bad episode that really just put me off.
But that's the problem, is that's all it takes, isn't it?
Especially when it's coming out weekly.
Yeah.
Like by the time the next one was out, I was like, I don't care. But if there'd been another one available, Netflix style, I might have given it a chance.
And gone, well, okay, let's give it one more go. Oh, this is a good episode. Maybe I'll give it another go. And
it's funny, isn't it? Like these days, there's so much choice on what to watch that you can be so picky. But back in the day when we were watching Star Trek, my standard was so much lower because there were 4 channels. And like you could guarantee one of them would have sports or news on.
Yeah.
So, I guess it's either Star Trek or, changing rooms.
Yeah. Changing rooms. Fucking changing rooms.
Or a soap opera.
Yeah.
Like that was it. So you made do with what you had. But nowadays, oh my god, if something isn't really good, I'm out. I ain't got time to waste.
I ain't got time for it. With Netflix, YouTube, everything basically.
It's so much content to choose from.
Yeah, and Twitch as well.
Yeah, Twitch. That's it. I can just go watch YouTube or a Twitch or anything. Like I could watch a Vimeo.
And I think that's why like the quality of TV and stuff is definitely improving these days as well. Like things like the Netflix originals and Hulu's originals and stuff like that. They know that they have to keep people's attention.
Well, you'd think that, but then there is still quite a lot of bad
There's still a lot of guff. But then, unfortunately, the problem with that is this because there's a lot of people that still watch
will watch
guff.
anything.
Like, they will watch anything. Gogglebox. Nina, I am talking about you.
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus.
Fucking Gogglebox.
That to me is the epitome of what I hate about modern entertainment. You are literally watching other people watching TV.
Yeah.
And they're not even interesting people. They're just idiots.
Yeah. I hate it.
Hate it. I'm glad you agree with me. It's
it's lazy.
I know why Nina watches it. Nina watches it because she enjoys like cringe. Like she watches so much shit.
Okay.
She watches like Benefits Britain and all this kind of stuff. And it's a real Schadenfreude. I think it's her German side coming out. Right. She loves just watching suffering of other people and
whoa, ruthless.
She loves it. Wow. She loves it. She describes it as she loves watching stupid people getting what they deserve.
Wow.
That's what she says.
I'll never look at her the same way now. Yeah. Holy shit.
Because they always just pick out like the worst examples of everything.
Oh yeah, and then they edit it to make them look even worse.
Even worse, exactly.
Like I'm sure in the real situation
these
they weren't
people
being
are
that stupid.
No, exactly. But you know, the TV sets them all up, and that's why like I remember when I was because I used to do quite a lot of like the convention and cosplay scene when I was younger, and I remember when programs like Channel 4 were coming to MCM Comic Con, and they were saying like, oh, we want to talk to people in cosplay, we want to talk to people in costume.
Yeah.
And all the people I knew, I was like, do not speak to these people.
Yeah.
They will make.
They are
look
not interested
so
in like going into what cosplay's about, and
they want to make fun of you. That's all they're there to do. Do not engage. And sure enough, you get some person who is desperate for a bit of attention, goes up and speaks to them, and in the final version, they make you look like a right weirdo. Because they make you like...
Because that's what they think people want to see.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of people do want to see. A lot of like the general public.
Yeah, because it's something they don't understand.
And they're like, haha, look at all the weirdos.
It's weird. I thought it was weird, and it is weird.
Yeah, exactly. You know, never mind that there are plenty of people that are super skilled and do these amazing sort of craft projects and everything else. They'll just go for the weirdos, and they'll pick out people that are in the store-bought costumes and things like that, and they'll get them to say daft things. They'll say like, oh, can you tell us like how much you love this character? Like really emphasize like you love this character, you want to be them, and they'll go like, okay, and then they make you look like a complete crazy person.
Oh, is that why there's no cameras allowed at LARP events?
I think that is a good reason why. Oh man, I did just get some drone footage back actually that they did at the last one. So they had a drone, which was awesome, but at the same time not great, because when we were going into the battle, like you're all supposed to be like, you're getting in the mindset, like, there's 500 people dressed as orcs on the other end of the field, and you're like marching towards them, and then you just hear, and you're like trying not to look up at the obvious drone that's flying
they're
around
not quiet,
you.
are they? Even when they're really high
Me
up.
and Smith and Trot were just dying as like we're walking into this battle. We're just like, Jesus, could they not have like had it a bit further away to start with? It's funny though.
Man, yeah, you really you want to be in the zone, don't you, when you're doing that stuff?
Yeah, I'm amazed at how Trot and Smith have taken to it. Like, I know I'm a loser, I'm a weirdo. Like, I totally embrace that. And I thought, okay, I was talking to them about it, and I showed them the pictures, and they were like, oh, this looks really cool, we'll give it a go. And I thought, okay, well, we'll see how they get on. And they fucking love it.
They've got into it, haven't they?
Oh, Smith is just like...
Smith already did airsofting, which is
it's
very similar. Like,
it's the soldier LARP, isn't it, basically?
Yeah, and you've got, like, it's a bit shootier, obviously, and there's a bit more, like, paintball element to it.
Yeah.
But it's still spending the weekend dressed up in the woods, going
pretending to fight, yeah.
So... yeah, I can really imagine if you like one, you'll probably like the other one too.
No, it's got to the point now where he's like, he'll come up to me like in the office, and he'll be like, so I've been planning this thing that I want to do at LARP, and he's got like plans of like what he wants to do.
Awesome.
And he wants to become emperor.
That is my favourite thing about hobbies like this, where you've got downtime, you sat on the bus, you're doing the washing up, whatever it is, you're doing something not great, but you can just think about like, my next battle I'm going to take these units and build this army list, or my next LARP I'm going to do this thing, or like you can just think about anything with a bit of depth where you can like plan stuff out when you're not doing it.
Well, that's what I love about the GMing and stuff as well with the D&D. Like for me, like world building, it's it's that creative outlet of I don't have to sit there and try and write a published novel and be really good at writing prose and things like that. I can just create these fancy worlds and then still share them and enjoy them with other people. And that's like, I'll just sit there quite happily, like long train rides or like on the bus or whatever, and you can just sit there and you'll be like, oh, that's a really good idea, and you can just jot down a note and come back to it later on. It's really nice for that.
Oh man, cool.
Yeah, I'm working on the new High Rollers campaign for next year at the moment, which will be quite exciting.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's the first time I want to, because, High Rollers started, and we thought, oh, we'll do a D&D stream on a Sunday, like, it probably won't do that well, but we'll have fun, we'll just basically play it as our normal game. And it's obviously done a lot better than we ever expected, we've gone on a lot longer now.
People are really into it.
And we've done it for nearly 2 years. And it was never intended to go that long. So a lot of the stuff I did, like a lot of the story and stuff that I set up in the world that I created was not designed for that length of time.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm kind of coming at it fresh and I want to create a lot more custom stuff so that there's more depth there. So I'm creating like a pantheon of gods, and I want to write like a more established sort of like history for magic items and things like that. It's just it's really nice to stretch those creative brains a little bit. What are you thinking? How's your?
Well, I'm at the awkward stage now where everything's wet. So I've like inked the tie bombers.
So you got to work on.
So I've got to wait for the ink to dry before I can black out like the solar panels on the wings. I've base coated the old Jump Master, but that's got to dry before I can ink it. The Scouts, I've done the bases, which you have to water the paint down a lot to get in between the cracks in the sand.
Yeah.
And I can't really touch them by the base while it's wet, so can't paint these. Everything's in this awkward drying stage now.
Do you have the ear pad?
Yeah, I can read some donations. Where
Sounds
is it?
good.
Where's it gone? Oh, it's on the other side of the room. I've got to disconnect. Unplug. Oh no, Steve's coming.
Steve's coming.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, it's a nice thing. I do love having hobbies, and it's really nice being in a company where other people share it as well. They can just come in and chat about like, oh, did you see this release, or blah blah blah. What do you think about this build and stuff like that? It's
really cool. A lot of people are playing Star Wars Destiny at the moment in the office, so we're at lunchtime get a few games of that in.
I think Smith doesn't want to play me anymore until I make a new deck.
Oh, Smith's having some bad luck at the moment, isn't he? He's not doing
a
so
good
well.
one. Bless him. I really want to try and make a Sith Inquisitor and make it work, but I can't really find a good way to do it that I think will be strong.
No, I had to think about that, and I've been doing a similar build to my Dooku Ventress Master Apprentice deck, where they try to make all your dice go blank, so that you have to spend cards to re-roll your dice and get good results.
And then have like stuff which punishes them for not having any cards in their hand.
Exactly, and it's not quite there.
It's a bit clunky. It is, what I found with the Sith Inquisitor is, unless I'm using like 2 4 speeds, I don't have enough actions to be able to like turn the dice to blanks and then use his abilities or the other abilities of other things to do damage. So it's just, it just seems that there's other stronger builds.
Or your opponent has speed tricks to get their dice out on the table and then resolve them before you can blank them.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a bit technical.
That's very technical. Yes, that was
avoid that.
That is a conversation that came out of my mind because I was thinking about it. But yeah, no, it's nice. I think it's one of the benefits because I worked in the games industry so much as well. Like I've always kind of had that geeky sort of people around me. I can't imagine what it would be like if you're working in like a bank and you're the only geeky one.
Well, I used to work in a boring office. I was a freelance like consultant that went to like local councils. And tell you what, there's a lot of middle-aged people in local councils who are not interested in games.
Really?
Really, yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Oh man, I'm so surprised.
So the only way I could really like talk to people about it or get into it at all was just go to my local games club once a week.
Yeah, we used to
with the guys there.
You've got
6 cards slightly, so they might come back and might not. I'll give you like.
Oh, okay.
All right. Cheers. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, because you used to go quite regularly, didn't you? Even like now, like going to the local gaming clubs.
Yeah,
and
I go
stuff
when
like
I can
that.
because it's the best way to just meet more people who are into this stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
And especially when you want to play competitively, like I'm playing Armada, you've got to find the best people.
Yeah,
you can only get better by playing good people.
Yeah, that's true. It's absolutely true. Yeah, I think we're quite like if you're living near a big city and you've got like a nice gaming store that does regular events and stuff like that, that's definitely something to capitalise on. I don't do it enough. Like we've got 2 in Bristol and I just don't go enough.
I mean, it's the reason why I don't think I'd ever move to like small town.
Yeah,
because there just wouldn't be the gaming community.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard to get. We were quite in Cambridge. We didn't really have a gaming club, so we kind of formed our own. Because Jagex and there's so many games companies there. There's enough gamers around, and there was a couple of like what I call the real traditional kind of wargaming clubs, like meet in a pub on a Thursday evening.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody's playing like tiny scale World War II miniatures, and they've been going for 20 years, and they know each other and they kind of
it's not the most welcoming.
Yeah, so we used to do a thing of we used to just book out like a big town hall sort of every like 3 months. And then we just basically invite a bunch of people from like the games companies and be like, hey, when you come down and play some Warhammer, and we play like big tournaments and stuff and things like that.
Cool.
So that was always quite fun. Yeah.
Right, let's go through some donations.
Yeah.
Clear until when did we start? 11.
So if we,
Boop. No donations left to read. That can't be right.
we've literally raised no money. No, I'm sure that's not true. Or just no messages.
Might have broken it.
That's good.
Perfect. I think I've cleared all the donations by
Nice.
mistake. Steve, if you're listening,
Please help.
help. Send help. I've ruined everything.
It could just be, I guess, like if people aren't leaving messages, if they're just
Well,
buying
the numbers
bundles.
going up.
Yeah, they could just. I'm just thinking if they just buy bundles.
No, I think I've ruined it.
You think you've ruined it. I'm trying to.
Hopefully Steve Rackwise can get these back. In the meantime, Lagful Mayhem literally just donated and says, time to give all the charities my monies. Please gimme gams. You got it, man.
You get plenty
You
of
get the
gams.
gams.
Is there anything in the bundle that you've played that you super highly recommend? Like apart from the obvious like Rust and Gmods and stuff?
Well, Dungeon of the Endless. I've been playing a bit recently.
Yeah?
Played a bit with Lewis and that got me back into playing it. It's really good.
Is it really good?
It's a bit weird because it's not like other games.
Yeah.
Like it takes a little while to learn how to play it because it's not a normal kind of like format.
Because I think it's not like a normal roguelike then.
No, it's like a kind of a turn-based / real-time / strategy / tower defense / RPG, where you have like characters who level up.
Okay.
And you spend resources like on things, and enemies move through this turret defense thing. It's a weird hybrid, but it's really good.
It's such a weird hybrid. Like it's like all the things at once.
Yeah, just got elements of all of them, and it's really good. But it just takes you got to play it for a bit to like figure out what the fuck's going on. Let's have a look. Where's the? I'm going to go to the Humble Bundle and see what the new games are. Oh no, we're not on the front page. Oh yeah, we are. There we are. Jingle Jam.
I was going to say I'd be very surprised if we weren't on the front page.
Because some games unlocked yesterday. I can't remember what they are. So yeah, if you donate $35 or more to the 7 wonderful charities of the Yogscast Jingle Jam, or you can choose. There's sliders. You can say I only want it all to go to this charity. Your pick. You get Rust, Dungeon of the Endless, Cube, Gary's Mod, Defend Your Life, a Dark Future ebook, Gunpoint, a Dwarf Helmet for Vermintide, Teslagrad, and Rethink. And you get a DLC for Guardians of the Ember, Dreaming Sarah, Chivalry, Blade and Soul giveaway pack, Guild Wars 2 Heroic Edition, 25% off the Guild Wars expansion pack, and beta access to Vermintide 2. I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah,
Vermintide was really good.
Vermintide was really fun.
I haven't played the beta for Vermintide 2.
No,
I want to try that out.
It was one of those games where when I was playing Vermintide, you can't help but kind of go like, this is Left 4 Dead 2. But then at the same time, it's like,
it's
this
Warhammer,
is Left 4 Dead 2, but with Skaven and slightly other different things that make it better.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
It was good fun.
I was surprised at how funny like the audio interactions between the characters were as well. Like whoever wrote that game does really know the old world and the Warhammer universe really well. Like,
but I don't think you have to be a Warhammer fan to enjoy it.
Because it is just a really
It's just
solid
a fantasy
Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead with Ratman instead of zombies.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Like nail this.
So I'm looking forward to trying out the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rethink looks good. I haven't played it yet, but
Gunpoint I've heard really good things
Gunpoint
about
is
as
a great
well.
game.
Yep.
Absolutely great. And in fact, I think Gunpoint was made by Tom Francis, who also made Heat Signature. And I think Tom and Lewis are going to play some Heat Signature later.
Oh, nice.
Maybe next week. Yeah,
Nice.
Chivalry, that's great.
Chivalry, classic.
Can't go wrong. Let's have a little look at the numbers here. Still Tom Bailey, top of the charts. What a hero.
Well, hopefully after last night, so apparently Terps was tweeting at Elon Musk,
yeah.
saying the Hat Films we're making a charity music album for you.
Right.
We've raised $3 million for charity. Care to? It was like he said, like,
in some of your
he was
billions.
basically care to make a guest appearance or at least match the total or something like that. So
Well,
who knows?
bold
Maybe
attempt.
by the end of December.
I mean, we've mocked you ruthlessly in song form. Do you want to give us some money?
It's not mocked. They
not?
praise Elon in the song. Like he is the savior that comes to save the world. So hopefully he'll be up for it. I was telling the editors actually, He has a cameo, like quite a big cameo in Iron Man 2, where like him
Does
and
he?
Tony Stark are best mates. Like he rocks up. So the story goes,
I never
when they were
noticed.
filming Iron Man 2, they used a lot of Tesla and SpaceX's factories for the hammer industry scenes.
Okay, cool. Because apparently, like Tony Stark's character in Iron Man 1 was based on Elon
It's based
Musk.
on Elon Musk, right? So it was the director Jon Favreau was like,
Yeah.
well, you know, we know that Elon Musk has got these kind of factories that will suit hammer
That
industries.
look like high tech.
So they went to him and said, we'd like to use your factories, you know, what's it going to cost us or whatever? And he basically turned around and said, well, I tell you what, don't worry about it. I
Yeah.
just want to be in the movie. I want to have a speaking part in the movie and be friends with Tony Stark.
Oh, cool.
And so it's in the scene where he goes to drive the Formula One cars at Monaco.
Yeah.
And he goes into the building and like Elon Musk is there in a white suit and he's like, Elon, hey, and he like shakes Tony's hand. And apparently Elon's like, yeah, I've had some ideas for like a new rocket-powered thing or something like that. And Tony's like, if you can dream it, we can build it, buddy. And it's like a real sort of like, way. And like that was the whole story. And I just, yeah, I don't know, I can't remember where, I think it was on the DVD commentary or something like that. They talk about
that's
that, like
pretty
Jon
cool.
Favreau. And yeah, it's just a funny little thing, especially since he's becoming more sort of in the media now and stuff.
Yeah,
as
he
well.
wasn't very famous back then.
But now he's becoming more of a Tony Stark the more he's in
yeah,
things.
the longer
like,
he's alive, the more Tony Stark he is.
the more power he.
It's only a matter of time before he busts out the armor.
Yeah, God. It's either going to be him or some folks in Japan are going to unveil all the real Gundams that they've been
Oh, I don't know,
secretly
man. I
building
saw
up.
that terrible mech battle.
Oh God, I didn't see that. Was it really bad?
So I don't know if you remember, years ago, this American like mechanic started building a giant robot, and he found out like a Japanese team were also building a giant robot, so he challenged them to a duel.
Yeah, he changed him to a big
And then
robot
like
fight.
4 years later, or however long it was, it felt like bloody
Forever.
They hyped and hyped and hyped it, and then they finally did it, and it was just the worst.
Really?
Really
Like
anticlimactic.
Robot Wars bad?
Worse than Robot Wars.
No.
It was like if Robot Wars was produced by WWF Wrestling.
No.
Yeah, it was just really staged, really fake, very disappointing.
That's-
Just like shooting paintballs at each other
Oh,
and
that makes me so
pushing
sad.
barrels over.
That makes me so sad.
I was a sad boy. I was a little excited for some robot fights.
Yeah, God. Freaking love me some mechs.
Makes it cool.
I really want to see, because you've got Battletech and MechWarrior 5 out this year, next year.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm a big Battletech guy.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize that the BattleTech was isometric turn-based kind of thing, like proper strategy.
Yeah, because it's all the MechWarrior Battletech stuff has its roots in the old 80s.
Yeah, in the old 80s
hex-based turn-based game.
Yeah, because the only games I knew, the video games, were the MechWarrior series, where it's very actiony and sort of like stomping
it's
around
like
in a robot.
shooty. Yeah.
So I was very surprised that the actual BattleTech one was going to be the proper sort of like strategy game. It looks really good. I don't like all of the MechWarrior and BattleTech style designs for the robots. But
Yeah, they're inconsistent. There's no solid design
anything
style.
that doesn't have proper arms, I'm like, no. Anything
Well, you need hands on
Yeah,
your mechs, do
exactly,
you?
exactly.
And what about the Timberwolf, the iconic Battletech?
Yes, that's the kind
It's
of
just
like,
got gun arms.
I prefer if it had proper arms, but it's okay. But like it has to be legs, arms. Like I want it to look like
a person.
Like I want it to be a Japanese style mech.
I'm different. I like the ones that are really boxy, clunky, and
Boxy,
kind of
clunky
covered in
ones.
guns, like the let me think. The catapult. I really like from BattleTech. I don't know if
Yeah.
maybe Steve can find these and put them on the screen. That's probably asking
That'd be
too
good.
much. But
Steve's like, no.
no, busy.
Can you find
A
it's
BattleTech catapult.
yeah.
Let's see if we can bring that up. Yeah, no, that's how I like my mechs. Like really industrial, really heavy, really clunky looking.
Have you
covered in guns?
have you played Scythe, the board game?
Not yet. No, I want to.
Because the artwork is all that kind of mech. Like it's all the kind of not quite steampunk, more industrial punk, like
Yeah.
diesel punk.
Okay.
And it's kind of all of those. The mechs kind of follow that style basically. And it's very good. I remember teaching it to Mike Smith and Trot on like one of the sort of after work kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The first game that we played, it is like a 4-hour like first game thing, but it's that again, it's got that thing of if everybody knows what they're doing and everybody kind of learn how you start developing your own meta, it's a very sort of clever, lots of decision making game.
Okay.
It's very much about deciding.
It's a bit of like a worker placement
It's
slash combat game.
Yeah,
isn't
the
it?
combat really isn't a big part of it though. It more comes down to how you manage your resources and strategic positioning.
Right.
I would say it's more of its kind of that's where the strategy gets really interesting and complex. Because you can only perform a certain number of actions per turn, and you can't do the same actions in a row. So it's very much about trying to predict where you're going to need to be in like 2 or 3 turns time,
right?
As well as managing other stuff.
Game.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very, very good.
People trying to get in. Get out! Unless you want to paint. Painting only. Unfortunately, left guy wanted to have a meeting in here.
Oh, did he?
It's painting room.
Sorry,
today.
left guy. This is for charity.
Charity. I'm going to finish this solar panel. God, this is the worst thing about painting TIE fighters.
Yeah.
All little black solar panels. Nearly done now. Once I've done this, I'll go do some donations.
If they've been fixed. If you fix them. Because you ruined Christmas, Ben.
I've ruined Christmas. I'm the worst. No!
What is that?
That's a tank!
What is that? Is that even from Battletech, Steve?
It's a robot. It's a giant robot with missiles on its shoulders.
Just search like Battletech mechs and then see if it's amongst the sort of search results.
Or I could get super nerdy. Steve, if you type in CLPT-4N, that would do it too.
The fact that you know the serial number, I love it. I love it.
Oh, I played too much BattleTech. I know the serial numbers of all the mechs. Got a graph? Oh my god. I'm gonna have to do it myself.
You have to do it yourself now. See, I think because of being a massive weeb, as anybody who watches Hat Film streams will know, I think I've always been more influenced by the Japanese style mechs. I remember playing things like Armored Core and Front Mission.
Yeah.
And those were kind of my mech games of choice. I mean, Christ, I'm a Tau player. Like, you can tell which kind of designs
true.
I want.
How do I'll make this full screen.
How does that...
Bam! That's what it looks like. No! That's a Highlander!
That's the kind of robot I like. That's the best type.
You see this? That's what a catapult looks like.
No, I can't believe... No, Ben. No.
Yeah. That's the giant mech for me.
It's so dumb.
Oh, Mad Cat.
Mad Cat, is that quite a popular one?
That's the iconic one that's on like all the box art. Yeah.
Is that
that's a weird like modern redesign of it.
I think that might be from MechWarrior 5, I think.
Yeah. But this is the classic Mad Cat. See that?
It just reminds me of the rowboat one from RoboCop.
Oh yeah, Edge 9, that's an awesome mech.
Yeah, that's okay. I have less problems with them, but I still
doesn't have hands or a sword or fly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is that what
if its missiles don't do this, then I'm not interested.
Oh my god, we're diametrically opposed on mech design here. Because I really don't like flying mechs. I like them to have like
I don't necessarily care about flying,
where they can like go.
Flying's not a huge problem, but its missiles have to work a certain way, and it needs to look like a person. Yeah, swarm missiles and look like a person.
Do you like it when they hold like a giant rifle?
Oh yeah, well because I'm a big Macross fan, like Macross and
they have to have the guns built into their body.
Holding the gun, like that's the best way. If they can transform into a plane as well as be a robot, quintessential.
Holy shit.
No, I'm...
that's everything that's wrong with mech design.
You are everything that's wrong with robots.
That's why people make fun of robots.
I don't know. It's not true. Pacific Rim did very well in the cinema, and that's why.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on board with Pacific Rim.
No, neither am I, actually. Do you know what? The mechs I don't mind as much. All the interesting mechs
got wiped out in the first fight. And we're left with the boring.
The Chinese one with the 3 arms.
Yeah, and there's clunky Russian one.
I like the clunky Russian one because it had a body and arms.
All those other robots looked way cooler than the one that lived.
Well, yeah, because they're the main ones. That movie, I do like Pacific Rim because it is giant stompy robots, and I love giant stompy robots. But goddamn, I hate the characters in that. Apart from Idris Elba,
pretty terrible.
And it was just so badly done. Like,
there was real gaps in logic in that film, wasn't there?
Yes, hugely so.
Like, why didn't they just camp out the spawn point?
Yeah, and just murder them as soon as they come out. Like, why wasn't there a defensive platform built around
Don't
the
build
fucking
a wall
rim?
across the entire west coast of America.
No.
Build a wall around the fucking portal.
And then just load it up with like anti-kaiju guns or something,
Yeah,
you know?
Jesus.
Shoot anything that comes out.
Just have a big, like, sword on a stick that does this every 30 seconds.
Just create like a crystal
And then they come out and then chop,
Chop, chop, chop.
chop. It's like like an automatic like vegetable chopper that just.
Stargate had the perfect solution. You build the iris.
Oh,
You build the iris
of
over
course.
it.
And
Like
they just thud into the wall and die.
that for me was like really good sci-fi writing because they went, here's a problem we're going to introduce in an episode.
Yeah.
Well, that's really stupid. Why would they have that? They
fact,
clearly build something to.
SG-1 generally made a lot of sense.
SG-1 is one of the best sci-fi shows I remember watching as a kid.
It got weird at a point. I stopped watching it after like season.
Is it the point
6 or
with the
7 or
little
something.
nanomachine crab robots? Like I remember
Yes.
that happening.
And there was like a higher plane of celestial beings that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's.
I don't know.
I think I
It
blanked
got
a lot of
super
that from my
confusing.
mind.
And because you couldn't watch it on Netflix or anything, like
You
if
had
you
to
missed an
wait.
episode, you were like, "What's
the
going
fuck?
on?
What the fuck?"
Who are these guys?"
Yeah.
No,
that's
so I
fair.
lost touch with it. But when they were just fighting space Egyptians,
Like first couple of like seasons where it's space Egyptians and crazy planets.
yeah,
Planet of the Week.
that was awesome.
That was great.
Fucking loved it. Do you think they'll do a comeback, Stargate?
Stargate
comeback?
I don't know. They tried with like Atlantis and stuff, didn't they? And it just was never the same.
Yeah, but like a back to bones reboot.
If they went back to Bones with like a new cast and stuff, like kind of what they've done with other series recently, like I'd watch it for sure. Smith
it
would
too.
fucking watch it. He'd jizz his pants over it. What was that, Steve?
Time for a break. So we're going to watch
Nice.
some ads now, and I'm going to have a cup of tea.
I'm gonna.
If you don't want to watch ads and you want to you want to perv on me making a cup of tea on Office Cam, you can subscribe now or renew your Twitch Prime if you have it.
Twitch Prime is fantastic. If you've got an Amazon Prime account and you're not using that Twitch Prime, just use it, man.
I know a lot of you don't, and that's cool.
That's fine.
Don't worry about
but it's really good.
you're just missing out on me making a cup of tea.
Yeah.
So don't worry.
I'm going
about
to keep
it.
painting because I'm feeling it.
You're in the paint zone.
Yeah, I'm just like, I just want to keep going now.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
See you in
All right.
5.
See you in 5. Bye.
Hey, welcome back.
Hello.
To Paint Lickers.
Yeah, it is the paint licking stream. Quite a few.
We lick the paint.
Yeah, because you are a paint licker as well, aren't you? Like you are a brush licker. Like I know that
So you get a very fine point.
when we did the games night video, so many people were like, "Oh my god, it's so disgusting!" But it is a thing. Like this is what I've started changing it now because a guy on my stream, if you want to use this, I've started using brush cleaner. So you wet your brush and then you kind of work it into like a lather, like a shampoo, and it keeps your brush just like in a super nice kind of quality
that sounds really
point.
good for dry brushing.
It's
because so many. I don't know if you can see this on like.
It's like got absolutely red.
This dry brush is now only for green. Because no matter how much I wash it, it will always be
the Dark
green.
Angel brush
It's the
now.
Dark Angel brush now.
Yeah, nice. No, it's because I used to get in so like whenever I do like painting streams on my Twitch, like a couple of my regular guys used to get really triggered by the way I treat my brushes because I'd be like nah, throw it on the ground, and so they said that I should go and buy this stuff called the Masters brush stuff. Did you manage to get those donations, or are they gone?
I
forever?
did. They're back, and I made a cup of tea. Unfortunately, I disappointed our subs with not being able to provide tea.
No, you did.
It turns out the office cam works, but the kitchen cam isn't plugged in.
Oh,
So I could not provide sexy tea cam. You missed
had
it.
to
It was hot.
have
Still is a bit hot.
hot tea cam action. Nice. And are you still waiting for stuff to dry? Have you got the ties?
What are we doing? The Scouts bases are still drying. I think the ties are done.
Ties are done.
I can no longer tell the difference between.
With Armada, you don't need to go into too much detail either. Do you?
No,
Too much detail
no.
is going to make it look worse.
Literally,
right?
all I do with the Armada, like let me walk through the
Yeah,
process
yeah,
for Armada scale Y wings. It's super. I mean, it can't really get. They're so small, we can't really get a focus on them. But basically, I sprayed them white. I dry brushed them. No, then I inked them black.
Yep.
To get all like those
The little
cracks and
cracks
like the
that-
pipes and stuff.
What do they call it? Greebles.
Then dry brushed it white, and then literally painted black engines and a
details.
white and a yellow stripe, and that's it.
That's it?
Like it's a 5-minute job.
Nice.
But it looks so much cooler than unpainted ones.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
And then the same with the A-wings, but just a red stripe instead of a yellow one.
Did you ever play War Master, the sort of like tiny scale Warhammer Fantasy
Well,
stuff?
it's funny you should ask.
Oh, really?
because I am in the process of doing a War Master Ancients army.
Oh shit! That's what my friend Captain used to do. Hey,
You see, they're very small. To be honest with me, miniatures, the smaller the miniature,
the better.
the better. The more smaller the toy, the bigger the big fun. Can we get that?
I'm
on
not
Sky Cam? No, we can't. So these are very, very tiny mans.
Super
this
tiny
is called,
mans.
This is 6 mil. So like a Space Marine, bam, is, well they used to be 30 mil, but these Primarises, I guess they're more like 35 mil or 36 mil, something like that. We're back on Skycam. So that's like a 30 something mil guy. This is a 6 mil.
6 mil
6
guy.
mil mans. Maybe if I turn them around, you can see them better because the shield's going to get in the way.
tiny.
So you can see like the white, they've got white shirts and little pink legs. So there's a row of like 2 rows of 10 guys on one base. They're teeny tiny Romans with red shields. I really can't see them because if I get them close enough for you to see them,
It
they're
just goes
super out
so
of
blurry.
focus.
Yeah. This is the problem with having the camera so far up. Like normally when you're doing painting, the camera's like here, and you've kind of got your arms around it so that people can see it. Otherwise, you just can't get the focus on it.
We done goofed.
Well, it's just
So,
like, I don't think we could have done it any other way to get both of us.
So yeah, I'm working on that
Working on
very
those.
slowly.
Yeah,
but they're
nice.
in my bag. If I get everything else done, I'll move on to the
You
tiny,
move on to
teeny
those.
Romans. But I love it. I love epic scale. That's why I love Armada because everything's teeny tiny.
Do you feel is it because of the tactics, or is it just there's some satisfaction of teeny tiny classic
It's
soldiers?
both. It's both. I think with a regular war game, like a 28 mil scale war game, unless you're playing like a skirmish game with 10 guys aside, it always looks like not really a battle.
Yeah.
You know, why is the head of the captain of all Ultramarines at this like 30-man skirmish?
Yeah,
Why have they
okay.
got 20 battle tanks in a tiny skirmish on a battlefield the size of a football pitch?
Yeah,
Just feels wrong.
it feels weird.
But you play a 6 mil game, like Epic is the 6 mil version
Yeah,
of 40k,
of 40K, yeah.
and you've got companies and companies of troops, thousands of troops with tanks everywhere.
It feels like the battles that are in the lore.
It feels
right?
like a proper battle, and
yeah.
the board is so big comparative to the individual models
Yeah.
that you have room to do like these sweeping tactics,
Sweeping
and maneuvers.
advances and stuff.
Whereas
yeah.
in like a larger scale war game, your army generally fills the board.
Yeah.
You know, like there's not really any room to get around anyone.
That was a pretty big problem when I was doing the fantasy battle tournaments, doing Throne of Skulls and stuff. That was kind of one of the big problems is you'd play anything like you'd have like a large cavalry force, and really the board's not big enough to really get them around and like actually do a proper flank, because if your unit's fielding 40 orcs in a single tray, well, there's like a quarter of the table taken up by his one unit, and you can't really do anything about it. So
I feel, generally speaking, smaller scale games have more strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of skirmish games now. Like, I love sort of the 10-man to 20-man sort of skirmish games. I've raved about it before, like on my channel, on live streams and stuff. I love Guild Ball because it's very contained. It's strategy, but a sports strategy, which is very different. It's not combat, so you can.
Well, you can have much more abstract like objectives in a sports game than in a
military one. Because in a military one, it's normally kill thing or control a point.
Yeah.
Whereas like with something like Guild Ball, like it's very positional. It's very much about like, do I try and score now? Do I try and especially in fighting
controlling
ones,
space,
where you still have taking enemies out and stuff like that. It can really kind of change it around quite a bit. But also even just things like War Machine and Infinity, I've really been enjoying as well. Just that smaller scale, playing with fewer models, get games out quicker. Don't sit there for an entire year painting an army.
I'm the opposite. I want a giant army of tiny men that takes all night to play. That's my dream.
That's your dream. Because how long like War Master games, are they quite lengthy in general?
Not too bad. I mean, to be honest, I've played very little War Master. I just fancied building a tiny little army.
I just wanted to play with some tiny men.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
But the nice thing about historicals is, as long as you base them up smartly on a fairly generic sized base, you can play any number of games with them.
Oh, really?
You can't copyright history.
No, that's true.
So if you've got a Roman or a World War II guy or whatever,
that's true.
You can use it in countless games.
And there's so many of them follow the same scale as well, like they're the same size scale and stuff, aren't they?
And a lot of war games rules, you don't have to play the same scale as what it says.
Oh, really?
Like as long as the measurements work out, or you just make them smaller, you can play a game designed for larger models with smaller ones. You just have to adjust things a bit. So you can never go wrong with historical miniatures in terms of like what you want to do with them.
I visited Warlord games here in the UK, and like they do, is it Bolt Action, I think?
Yeah, they do a World War II.
Yeah, they do World War II, and then they do quite a lot of historical stuff as well. I remember going through their sort of like when they were showing me around sort of all their like manufacturing and stuff like that. They had a lot of historical like Zulu colonial stuff and like Middle Ages and things like that. And they've started doing a samurai game as well now. But that's a 28mm scale. But I've always, it's just, I don't know, I think it was just because I never got into it as a kid. Like I've just never really had, I was more interested in mythology and fantasy than I was in history. So I think I kind of had that sort of thing of like, I'd rather play as elves than giant robots.
Yeah, I was kind of the same, and then I started reading like ancient history, and the more I read about it, the more exciting the sort of period and playing the games in that series.
Oh, for sure. It's a very cool period of time.
Because there is quite a lot of like myth weaved in. Like there's no way of knowing how much ancient history actually happened the way they say it happened. Because like they're often very superstitious or spotty record keeping or
the victor just changed it.
Well, that's it, or just for propaganda purposes. The Romans often inflated the skill and power of their enemies so that their victory sounded better.
Oh,
because a big part of like being important in Rome was having support of the people in the Senate and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you could make it sound like you're a fucking badass, you were more powerful.
Yeah, and so to be a badass, you had to
kill a mighty enemy.
Kill a mighty enemy, and if you're slaying peasants, like little kind of
if you're just
kelp peasants running around,
stomping people who can never possibly stop you,
because you've got this massed war machine of resources and everything else. Yeah.
And a lot of these things are written. We don't have primary sources anymore. No. So it's someone who's writing a book 400 years after it happened, based on records that we can't check.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So who knows?
Who knows?
Oh shit. So you kind of have to. You can't believe really any ancient history, but you kind of have to
believe
because
nothing.
What else
is there?
Yeah. What else can you do?
Yeah. We only have certain amounts of records to go by.
But I don't know. I still love it. Even though half of it's probably not true.
Well, that's the thing, is I think that's what makes it interesting though, isn't it, as well? Like, you kind of, the stories and that come out of it.
And a lot of fantasy is just rewritten history.
with
dragons stuck in.
Yeah.
Like Game of Thrones, very heavily based on War of the Roses.
Yes, I've heard that quite a few times actually. People saying that it's heavily based on.
You know, the Horus Heresy from Games Workshop lore, very heavily based on
it's
Roman
Caesar.
Civil War.
Yeah.
With other like mythologies and stuff mixed in.
Yeah, like Space Wars being Norse and stuff like that.
Well,
right?
yeah, exactly. And
Like
you've got a lot of like Egyptian mythology mixed in there with like the War of the Gods and stuff like that. Like, It's basically it's a mashup of ancient Egyptian myth and Roman Civil War history.
That's kind of what Games Workshop always done, though, hasn't it? Like they've always been sort of the guys that take things from everybody else and then go like, we're going to do our own twist on it.
Yeah, but with spikes and skulls.
Yeah, more spikes and skulls. That's always the way. One thing I did see, I saw somebody who was asking me on Twitter, and I didn't really have a good answer for this. Is like, what is a good way to start with just like painting miniatures? Like, what do you think is like the best sort of like either game or miniature kind of collections or series? If people just wanted to get into it and start painting.
I think depends on why you want to paint.
Yeah.
If you want to paint and game,
Yeah.
go for a game. Well, to be honest, no matter what, scratch what I just said.
Ignore what I just said. Complete change.
Only buy miniatures you like.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't matter how good the rules are or how hard you think they're going to be to paint. If you buy a boring miniature that you hate the look of, you're never going to finish painting a whole army of it. Without a doubt, because it's the only thing that's going to make you finish a painting project is enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm for the game or for the painting itself.
Yeah, so you've got to really like what you're working with.
Yeah. In terms of like different ranges and stuff, I think, I mean, the easiest one to get hold of is going to be probably Games Workshop, just because
there's probably one in your town.
There's probably one in your town. It's mass market. Depending on the store, you might have a nice member of staff that will be genuinely helpful and sort of won't just try and flog you loads of shit you don't need. And
they often have like painting classes. You can go in on like a Sunday or something. And
they'll teach you the basics and things like that as well. But in terms of other miniatures and things like that, if you want more generic fantasy, I always recommend Reaper miniatures, like Reaper Bones. They do like a plastic series.
They're great for like if you're doing like a D&D campaign, you just want specific characters or monsters or something.
And they're quite good for just learning as well, I would say, because you know they're quite generic and they're not too expensive. You can buy like a single one for like £2 or £3 and you can kind of practice on that. And
yeah, I mean, if you're literally just looking to practice, you can probably buy like a box of 20 plastic historical miniatures.
Yeah,
historical miniatures are almost always cheaper than like branded IP stuff. So like you can go buy a box of like Roman Legionnaires for 20 guys for like £12. Whereas you want 20 Space Marines, it's going to cost you like £50.
£50. The one thing, if you do want fancy ones, the one thing which I do find is generally a bit cheaper is Kings of War. Yeah, Mantic Kings of War. They do like 20 zombies for like
stuff.
£11 or something like that, which is really good. And the miniatures are still good. Like they're not
miss.
Citadel.
There's some good ones. There's some not so good ones.
Yeah, the elves I find.
Oh, the elves were the first ones they did, and it really shows. Like they've got a lot better since doing their elves.
I'd say like all the newer ones, like the Abyssal Dwarves and the demons and stuff they've done have been a lot better.
Like some of the undead stuff's great as well.
Yeah. Undead are pretty good ones to start. Like any kind of undead is normally a good start for miniature painting as well, because they
can be a bit messy and it looks right. Like if you're trying to do like a high elf or a gleaming paladin, you can't really afford to make mistakes on that miniature. It's going to show. If you're trying to do like a white and blue gleaming gold,
high elves and stuff. I remember doing my high elf army, and it was a slow process. Like I'd painted wood elves before, and wood elves you can be a bit more messy because they're very earthy. Whereas high elves, like I was painstakingly like making sure each line of like gold was like super neat, because otherwise it doesn't look. It
looks wrong if there's any like your hands wiggle at all. So that's another thing to keep in mind actually. Like orcs. Yeah. Orcs are messy.
Orcs are messy.
You can't go wrong.
Go with those. And again, like you can get some cheap ones of that. Really nice miniatures. There's loads of companies actually that just do nice miniatures. I actually really rate the Steamforged. The Guild Ball ones are really nice. I've got a couple here actually. So they do really nice human, like people miniatures, I find, because they're all meant to just be like normal players. So I don't know if I can get this in shot or not.
Yeah, it's reverse as well, which is confusing. You have to move it left to go right.
You're not going to be able to see that. I'll take a picture and post it on my Twitter later. But they're really nice, like human miniatures. They are very thematic though, so you can't really use them for a lot of other things. And they do have a pretty sort of intense strategy game attached to them. But I like the miniatures. The other thing as well is like, man, if you're getting into painting, Games Workshop washes or just washes in general are amazing. Like they can take even somebody who's not a great painter and you can make a half decent looking miniature. Like, I'm not a great painter, but washing and thinning down your paints and doing a little bit of patience with like layering and stuff makes a massive difference.
Yeah, and if you want to do like the easiest way to paint a model, I find, is to dry brush it and ink it. But certain things look great when you dry brush and ink, and certain things don't.
Yeah.
So, for example, I've got a great example of a model that looks good inked and dry brushed, and was like 0 effort to paint. Where are we? Right, so for example, like a high elf, you wouldn't want to ink and dry brush that; it would look garbage. But these Chaos Marines I did earlier this year, they're in here somewhere.
Yeah, anything which has got like tons of recesses and like raised armor plates and things like that.
Intricate detail, but that doesn't have to look super neat.
Yes.
So if you've got like armored trim, it's great for it. This is the wrong box.
You got too many boxes.
I've got too many. I just grabbed everything. Like cloth doesn't look good inked and dry brushed, but like here we go.
Yeah,
and not as smooth things like armor, like plate armor doesn't look great done either. But here we go.
I think you can ink it, but the dry brushing you have to be a bit more sort of like specific with. You have to be a bit more clean.
Bam! These guys. Can we? Shit! Yeah, you just can't see, can you? What if I put them down here? Can you like?
There
Can you zoom?
Zoom and enhance.
Zoom and enhance, Steve.
We need to zoom in and enhance to catch this criminal.
Nope.
He's
in.
He's in. Oh wow!
Can you see that?
Yeah,
like
you can vaguely see.
Because they've got this trim on their armor. It's not just smooth plates like it is on a regular Marine. So you can the dry brush catches the raised areas and then the ink gets in between the cracks, and
makes them super quick.
It's a super quick job, and it looks pretty good, I think. So yeah, that's if you're wanting to paint a lot of models and you want to practice.
Again,
good.
Orcs is another good one for that. Like orcs, you can actually paint them pretty quick by just ink, good dry brush, and then a little bit of detail work, and you can get through quite a few orcs quite quickly. But yeah, I think generally, like, not to be a Games Workshop fanboy, I do think Citadel still produce some of the nicer miniatures, and you know that you can play the games with other people. Like, they're not the best games.
That's the other thing. They're not the best games, but
everybody plays them.
Every games club you go to, there'll be people playing Games Workshop games. It's like the super mainstream
40k or Age of Sigmar, you'll be able to get people. I am going to give Age of Sigmar another go. I was very dismissive of it when it first came out, and I've said to myself, I'm going to get some Stormcast, and I'm going to give it a go.
Boo.
Well, man, yeah. It's just not going to be Fantasy Battle, that's the problem.
Well, Fantasy Battle was my favourite game for a long time, so I cannot get on board with what they've done.
It's not the same game.
It's not the same game.
That's how you have to deal with it. You have to basically say Age of Sigmar is a different game, and if you want to play Fantasy Battle, you either play Kings of War or you get 9th edition fan-made rules, and that's what you do. And that's kind of the way I've kind of justified it to myself, that Age of Sigmar is a different game.
It is a different game, but it's killed my favourite game.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think it's probably for the best, because looking back, the game wasn't as good as I thought it was. It made me move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Like, there were some major problems, especially playing it competitively.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there were so many balance issues, and, you know, tournaments just became...
Well, that was not a priority for Games Workshop. No, they were not interested in balance issues.
I think now they're starting to be a bit more interested.
Have you read the 40k rules?
Well, 40k is 40k. Like, it's always going to be fucking... Because the problem is 40k, I think, inherently has problems as a game. But I think that they are starting to come around that they are not necessarily about balance, but they are starting to come around to the idea that they are a games company as well as a miniatures company.
Yeah, for a long time they were making miniatures, and the games were like an afterthought. But they are making more of an effort now to support the game as a hobby as well as the miniatures.
Yeah, and I think that's what's changing. I think that they're still going to struggle with balance because it's Games Workshop.
And to be honest, there's a lot of moving parts in 40k. Like, you've got so many races and so many units. That is a balance nightmare.
Yeah.
Where to make the units different enough that they're not just, different colours of the same thing.
Yeah. Not just that, but I do think the legacy element plays into it. Like, they've set certain things up to be a certain way, and they're going to upset people if they don't.
If they change it
too much, and that is unfortunately a concern for big companies.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
So now I'm just painting up some objective markers. I've got these crates and boxes and stuff.
Oh shit, we got.
And I thought if we're going to play some more 40k on games night, we don't want to just do line up and kill.
No.
We'll do like objective control. So if we just get like these ammo crates and like important stuff in boxes, missions.
Well, I actually forgot I've got all that scenery. I've got all those like shipping containers and stuff as well that we need to get painted up at some point. Or I'll probably just spray and dry brush those though.
Because I spray painted these, so there's just a few like cracks where the spray paint didn't get into. So I'm just running some watered down black all over it to
make sure you've got coverage.
Fill out the undercoat.
Right, that is my big boy, inked and washed. Well, inked. So I just basically made sure I went over. I wanted to get like all the little detailings of like the little different bits of white and grey. And now he's just had a thorough Nuln oil.
So now you've base coated all the different colours and you've black inked him.
I've black inked him now. So now once he's dry, it will basically be going the fun job of going over all of the red and just bringing up all the lighter areas where it needs to be brighter.
So just edge highlighting. More lighter red.
Sometimes going over some of the wider areas as well. Like I want to leave the Nuln oil, like the dark shades in the recesses, but because to match up with like the other guys, I want to bring up the red so it's a little bit brighter even on some of the flatter areas, and then it will be edge highlighting afterwards. And then layering up things like the Celestia Grey needs to be layered all the way up to like a more of a bright white. I need to just do a little bit of detailing. I don't have the paints to do like all the little panels and like the blue lights and things like that, but it's just a slow, ongoing job.
Nice. I do like that suit.
It's my favourite one. Suit. It's the best one. Out of all of the Tau suits, it is the only good one. The Storm Surge looks ridiculous.
With its little stubby arms.
With its stupid, stubby little arms. And then even the Riptide, I think, just looked weird. I don't like it at all.
You're a hard mech man to please.
I am a hard mech man to please. I'm a mech connoisseur.
Only the finest mechs may pass my lips.
That gives a very different impression of why I admire mechs. There's people on the internet that are into that, but I'm not one of them.
No.
I'm gonna one thing I forgot to do is kind of all the rest of my Fire Warriors have this kind of, I use this crimson ink to almost kind of give like a lacquer effect because they're very samurai, they're like space samurai. I use this red wash just to kind of give like a lacquer effect. So
like glaze.
Like a glaze. And I forgot to do it on this one guy, so I'm just going to do that.
Get in there.
Yeah, while I'm doing this. While I'm waiting
I don't really know what colour to paint these boxes and crates. Like I want them to stand out so you can see them on the battlefield.
Yeah.
So I might just do like some bright primary colours or something and just...
Bright primary colours or like a light grey as well. Like, because it depends on what like battle surface you're painting on. I think our board we've got Mars and snow kind of colours. So yeah, maybe like bright colours like bright blues or bright greens.
I want to avoid like reds and browns.
Yeah.
Let's go for like, some blue and white or something maybe. Tough one. I've always struggled to paint painting scenery. I find really difficult.
Yeah, I find it very boring because there's no character there for me. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it where I'm just not as interested.
Got to be done though. Just fighting battles for killing is not as fun as having objectives.
Well, I think like whenever I've played games where I've had to use objectives and I don't have any handy, it's normally like I'll just go and find random shitty objects.
Yeah, so as a kid, like battle for the Coke can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, battle for the what they called the Beyblade or whatever, and sticking whatever we had to hand sort of on the table.
Yeah. It's a simpler time. I also remember
simpler time.
Not having enough money, so all the other. I buy miniatures, but not really able to afford anything else. So I'd instead of a tape measure, I had my mum's little sewing tape measure. For the dice, I'd go and raid all the Monopolies and get the dice out of those.
Fuck yeah, the dice raid.
Yeah.
Especially, I remember because we had a Warhammer club in school, and it was we used to run it from our homeroom sort of thing, which was in the site. We were in the science area for ours, and so we were playing on the big science tables, with the Bunsen burners built in and things like that. So when we had to do terrain, we just go and run over and have conical flasks and towers and things like that. And we used to get in quite a lot of trouble with teachers because they'd be like, "No, stop! Bunsen burner is not scenery."
Oh my God, your crazy glass scenery tabletops, dice rolling around.
It's like, haha! When you're a kid, you're throwing dice around and getting excited. It was very
God, it's kind of like I guess there's an element of like gambling, like like people enjoy the process of gambling. Like I think, like wargaming has an element of that.
Yeah.
Like obviously there's no money changing hands and stuff, but there's very much the excitement of like, oh, is this going to work? If this dice is high, I'm going to win the game. If it's low, I'm going to be in trouble.
They're my favorite moments. Like it's those moments where like the game comes down to if I make this save, I'm going to win because you're not going to wipe out my team. You're not going to score enough.
And I'm going to hold this ground. If I can pass this leadership check, my unit will hold the objective.
And then seeing what happens, and it's frustrating as hell when it fails. But at the same time, when it goes off,
Very
you're
exciting.
like, "Fucking yes!"
Yeah, that's one of the worst things about wargaming stories.
Yeah.
Is they generally devolve down to, and then I rolled a 6!
I rolled another 6, the classic Rimmer story, 100%.
And they're just no good to listen to. They're not good stories.
That became our like in-joke when we were doing like the fancy battle tournaments. And it was 4 of us that we'd go up to Nottingham, we'd go to Warhammer World, we'd stay in a B&B, we'd play for like the weekend, and then we'd come home. And it became an in-joke with our other friends that we'd come back and then like we'd be talking to it and we'd be like, oh, do you remember when we did that? And then you just hear one of our like work colleagues from like on the other road just go, and then I rolled another 6! And it was just like, all right, we'll stop. That was like code for us to shut the fuck up. Because it really does. It really, really does.
Oh, it's no good.
It's so bad. I did the only other story I think I had from those tournament eras is you know how you always get the kind of horrible opponents, like the people that just have like just super awkward or like super rulesy,
and you consider just surrendering so you don't have to spend 2 hours with them.
There was one guy, we did a Throne of Skulls once, and there was one guy that everybody was doing that to. He was basically so anally retentive about everything. Like his turn would take 30 minutes. Like he'd be like, I'm gonna move this. Oh no, that's not quite a full inch. There we go, that's it. And then when you took your turn, he would do the exact same to you. He'd be like watching you, be like, no, that's illegal, you've moved an extra 2 centimeters there, can you move that back? And he was doing this. Everybody was basically like, fuck it, I concede. I don't want to play this guy, this is really not fun. My friend Andrew is a very stubborn man. and he was just like, no, and it was the latter half of the day after lunch. We'd been hearing stories about this guy, and he found out he was playing, and he was like, oh, fuck's sake. And whilst this guy was taking one of his like 30-minute turns, he walks over to me and he's like, I can't take it, but no way am I letting this fucking guy get away with it anymore.
Well, yeah, he might win the tournament at this rate. If everyone's going to surrender to him.
And that was it. He was like, there is no fucking way I'm going to let this guy win. So he just waited, and he went and got the staff members, told them what this guy was doing. He said, I want you to come with me because I want you to be on this guy like this. Right. And so he had like 2 refs who were like watching him, and he was just like, oh, you're going to do, nope, 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters. And he was like, he basically
everything I hate about wargaming.
It was awful. It was awful. But he beat him, which was really satisfying.
There were no winners in that game.
There was a moral victory, but that was about it. There was no real victor.
Man. Slow play is a big bugbear of mine, actually.
Yeah.
Because I've been to tournaments where I could have won the tournament, but one of my opponents slow played, so we only played half the game, and then I didn't.
You didn't get to complete.
I got a lesser victory because I didn't get to wipe him out, and then I didn't win because.
Yeah, Steve. Sorry. Did you say something, Steve? No, I thought Steve said something.
Okay.
No, that's somebody outside.
So yeah, I think more games should have chess clocks.
Yeah.
You know, because these games are timed. They have to be timed so you can get enough games in the day. So you have like your 2-hour window to play your game.
In a tournament.
Which is enough to play the game.
Oh, God, yeah.
But some people are just so slow. And sometimes, I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or not. Because sometimes they're obviously going to lose.
Yeah.
And they think, well, if I just run the clock out, I will lose less. And then score higher on the scoreboard at the end.
Almost certainly. Because like when we were doing like the tournaments, like they were 2 hours, like, you know, if at the end of 2 hours you had to finish your game. But yeah, you had people that would be like, well, I've lost, but I'll just make sure I don't lose as badly so I'm still higher up in the rankings, and then I'll win my next game. And yeah, they would just either stall.
Really frustrating.
And
it doesn't happen it's really rare.
It's rare,
I should point out, but when it happens, it drives me mental.
It's so bad.
And I really think with like, there should be a clock.
Yeah.
And you just go, right, it's my turn, click, 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 it's ticking, and if your clock runs out of time, you lose the game, or you don't get to take any more turns.
Yeah, you concede something like that. Some sort of concession where you lose points, or your opponent automatically gets an extra 500 victory points or something like
Depends
that.
on the game.
Whatever it is, you know. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I hate it. It's why I can't watch cricket. Do you know cricket's famous for this?
No, I've never watched a game of cricket because I find it the most boring game in the world.
Because of fucking time padding. Like, there's a rule in cricket where if not everyone gets to have a cricket, then it's a draw. Everyone has to cricket, or it's a draw, no matter what.
What?
So if you're losing hard, you just pad for time, you stall every way you can, and then you go, it was 300-0, was it? Well, one of our guys didn't get a go at cricketing, so it's a draw.
Draw. That is the lamest fucking thing I've
bullshit,
ever heard.
Which is why cricket sucks.
Oh, man. That's really bad. My dad used to play cricket. And it has infused a hatred of the sport. The amount of times I was dragged to go and watch my dad play cricket, I don't even remember it. I remember I used to take books with me and I'd finish books. Like, I'd be like, nah.
It takes all day. I think, like, if you're not from the UK, baseball is probably very similar.
Baseball's
like, it takes all day.
It does take all day, but baseball, like, there's none of that, and there's generally something happening where you're like, okay, this is at least interesting. Cricket, because it's so plumbily British. Oh, and here's Johnson Senior coming up to this. Shut up! Like, I just hate it. I hate it.
Oh, safety play there, 2 runs.
So dull. Baseball, I think, is a little bit more interesting. I've only seen half a game of baseball, but it seemed better than cricket, what my childhood remembers.
Cricket is literally just not a spectator sport. I think people who like cricket just have it on while they're doing other things.
They must do.
You can't have your attention on it for like 12 hours for 5 days, or however long that fucking cricket takes.
Yeah, you can't.
It does take a week to play, as far as I can tell. I'm no expert, but it feels like a week.
It felt like a week when I was watching it as a kid, that's for fucking sure. That's for fucking sure. Nice.
Anyway, personal grievances over. Let's move on to some donations.
I think,
So it's been fixed. Hooray! Thank you to Steve Orekwise who fixed the donators. We got Birk Widegren, who says it's pronounced Burke. It's not pronounced Burke. It's pronounced Birk.
Birk.
I don't know. Well, however you pronounce your name, thank you very much.
Whatever your name is, thank you for your money.
BetPiss Hunter 69 has donated also. Why are you coming home at 5 a.m? Something going on? What?
Who's coming home at 5 a.m?
It's not 5 a.m. here.
No.
Maybe where you are.
I like the idea that, is he talking to somebody at Yogscast? Was somebody sneaking in on office cam or something?
Maybe he caught someone on like van cam.
In a walk of shame.
Jonathan, Ztech888 says, hey guys, I've been watching you ever since first night in Minecraft. I'm now 16 years old and I have a part-time job, so I can gladly participate in the Jingle Jam.
Oh, thank you very much,
man. That's awesome.
First paycheck. Good luck with the first job.
Wish you guys the very best and very Merry Christmas. I hope the great childhood and joy you gave me, which you continue to do to this day, can be shared with others. Thank you so much, especially Lewis and Simon.
It's a lovely message.
It is. Well, without Lewis and Simon, none of this would be happening.
None of this would be here. Like, that's damn true.
So good on you, Jonathan.
We'd all be in much more boring jobs.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That is for sure.
Wouldn't be painting models.
No.
Or having cocktails.
It's kind of a weird week, isn't it, really? Like, what do you do for a living? Like, well, yesterday we drank cocktails all afternoon, and today, this morning, I've been painting tiny plastic soldiers on camera.
It's amazing. Like, what can I say?
Yeah.
Dr. Steve donated. He says, I'm not sure what a Yogcat is, but thanks for the games.
These are my favourite donations. The people who have absolutely no idea.
They just know a bargain when they see it.
They know a bargain. And they love charity. I love it.
Thank you for donating. And check out the Yogcat.
The Yogscast.
It's really good.
It's pretty funny.
We've got Dingus. Says, love what you guys are doing. Keep it up and lick responsibly.
Yeah. Always lick responsibly.
Always lick responsibly when paint licking. Check your paints can be lecked.
I had to check this because Nina was genuinely worried about me licking paints, and Games Workshop paints are supposedly non-toxic.
They are completely non-toxic. Yeah. They're water-based. Yeah. They have no deadly chemicals in. It's fine.
So it's fine.
I don't know about other paints. Check your labels.
Check your local paint suppliers.
Helixer Super Bundle. Love your stream. Thank you very much. Fuckwit says, love you guys. Lesson 3. And we love you too, Fuckwit.
Fuckwit.
Skeeter McFadden says, I finally have a real job and can contribute properly. Thanks for the lols. He donated $300.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much.
$300 from Skeeter McFadden.
$300.
Holy shit, that'll get him on the Wall of Fame on the Humble page, won't it?
Oh, really?
I think so.
Nice.
I'm not sure. There's a top 100 on there, and I imagine $300 will get you the top 100.
Steve said something.
We hit pie!
Oh, we hit pie!
Woo! Pie for the pie god! What's it? 3141.
Can you, how many can you remember after 593?
I 314 is my limit.
No, that was the. I think mine was 314, and then I think I might have got the 0.5 if you'd asked me before I'd seen that. If you just asked me what it was, but yeah, awesome.
Oh man, we hit the goal. That's amazing. So we made pi million dollars.
Pi million dollars.
If anyone asks what the total's at, you say pi million.
Pi million. I guess man. I wonder what we're going to hit tonight, because you guys are doing Gmod tonight.
We're doing Gmod.
So I think that'll be a pretty popular one,
hopefully.
So, and then we've got, I think Kieran and Harry are going to do some art after this. A bit of a creative day. Creative and stabbing each other in the back day. But yeah, I wonder, it'd be awesome if, by the end of tonight, if you could get it up to the 3.2. That'd be awesome.
I think we can do that.
You can definitely get
that on
Gmod. Can you do that? Can you do that? Audience?
Oh man, what do you think we're going to get to? I really hope we get to 5 by the end of the
night. I think 5, I'm certain that we'll hit 5. I don't know why, I've got it in my gut. I reckon we'll definitely hit 5.
Because that's more than double last year.
Yeah, amazing. Which would be insane. And I think
it's already amazing.
I think though, if we hit something like Steve was saying, or somebody on the Reddit was saying, if you hit something like 6 point something, we would have raised more than every other Jingle Jam so far combined, which would be kind of amazing.
That would be amazing. Holy
Just being able to do that, and it will show how much all of the doing Twitch every day and stuff like that. The new Twitch schedule has changed, because I think this isn't just people buying the bundle. I think this is people just being more aware of the Jingle Jam and being more aware of the Twitch streaming.
It sounds like a lot of long-time fans have finally got some money.
That's true.
They've got their student loans or they got jobs. Whereas before they were at school and they couldn't really afford
it. Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it.
So that's a huge part of people donating. That's awesome.
Which is great.
Yeah, no, it'd be awesome to hit that.
So the new goal is kind of arbitrary as well. Steve, is there a meaning behind this number? Oh.
Okay.
It's boobies.
Oh, okay. Yep, there you go.
Donate for boobies.
Donate for boobs. Thanks, Steve.
Wow. I think that might breach Twitch terms and conditions, right?
No, because it's upside down and they can't read it.
Oh, right, they just flip the bot can't see it upside down.
They can't see it upside down.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
You tricked them.
It's like YouTube monetization bots. Just, put Elsa and Spider-Man in it and it's fine.
It's fine. It's for kids.
It's for kids. You can put whatever you want, as long as it's got Elsa and Spider-Man in it.
Still wet.
Wow, really?
Well, the crates are.
Oh,
I'm going to go back to my Jumpmaster.
Jumpmaster? I barely remember the Jumpmaster.
Well, it wasn't in the original trilogy.
No.
Do you remember? This is it. It's like the spaceship that's shaped like a toilet seat.
Yeah. I've always loved the shape of it. But
it's. Do you remember in Empire Strikes Back when Darth Vader's on the Star Destroyer and he's chatting to all the bounty hunters?
Yes.
He's like, "Go find the Millennium Falcon."
Yeah. No disintegrations.
No disintegrations. That's it. And there's a whole bunch of bounty hunters there. One of them has got like a turban-y towel thing on his head.
Yes, I can't remember his name, but I know the guy.
Dengar.
Dengar, that's it.
And this is his ship.
Oh, is it his ship?
It's like an expanded universe thing.
I didn't realise the Jumpmaster was
But it's actually called, it's my favourite, well not my favourite ship, it's the ship that makes me smile the most because its actual name in the fluff is the Jumpmaster 5000. Which sounds super made up.
So bad.
It's a sort of bullshit thing me or Tom would do.
It's like when you've got all of the other ship names, like the Whitey 1400 freighter, and they all make sense.
Millennium Falcon.
Slave One, they all sound like cool ships, and then the Jumpmaster 5000.
So dumb.
Wow.
But I need them for my Armada fleet.
Because I know Bosk's ship is the Houndstooth.
Houndstooth,
right?
Yeah. It's a what's it? A YV666.
Something like that. Yeah, I can't remember the exact. You remember the names, you remember the serial numbers way better.
Well, it's because I play with them in the games.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I played X-Wing Miniatures for a while, which I really like. I really like X-Wing.
It's a fun little game.
I think it's a great introduction to tabletop wargaming because it is very easy to learn.
You don't have to paint anything. The rules are pretty straightforward, and it only takes about 45 minutes to an hour.
There was a chap who I worked with when I was at NCSoft, and him and his son both loved Star Wars, huge Star Wars fans. And his son was just starting to get into Warhammer and things like that, and he wanted a tabletop game he could play, but he hated stuff like Warhammer.
Right.
So I taught him how to play X-Wing Miniatures and introduced it to him, and he fucking loved it. Yeah. And him and his son, basically that became their sort of Sunday afternoon thing that they would do together. They just play X-Wing. And I think it's really great for that. I think it's, if you've never played a tabletop game before and you want to play something, X-Wing Miniatures, because you don't even measure it. It's all all the movement's fixed.
Everything's fixed. There's no trying to judge where things are, and it's got none of the abstraction that can put people off wargaming. It's kind of like a board game with miniatures.
Yeah, but it still has some of the tactical depth. Like you're still like planning your own sort of like squadrons and rosters and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of. I think it's just a great introduction.
It's really good. I can't enjoy it competitively personally.
Really?
I enjoy the game, but yeah, it's more the competitive level is more about list design than like in-game strategy.
So it's almost more like Destiny, where it's more about like drafting, the perfect combination.
Yeah, you build like a combination of pilots and upgrades, and if you've done a really good job on that and your opponent hasn't,
you'll win.
There's very little chance they're going to beat you in the game.
Shit.
And it's a bit rock paper scissors at the competitive level, because some builds are great against certain things and not against others.
Yeah.
And if you get drawn up against the thing that's good against your thing, there's not a lot you can do about it. So it's a fun game, but tournaments are a bit meh for me. Whereas Armada, I feel like I've always got a chance in a matchup.
I want to hear more about Armada, but I've just noticed that my water glass, because I stole one of the temporary martini glasses, is leaked everywhere. So I'm going to quickly...
shit, leaky glass.
Yeah, I'm going to go and...
Okay, I'll do some more donations while you go.
Thanks, mate.
Refill. Just get this stem painted.
Grab a bunch of tissue.
Right, that's done. Leave that to dry. Get the donations going. Right, so marker's red. Bam. Locketh the Reaper donated. Thank you. Says Jeff the Shark. Is that about me or Jeff? Sometimes I'm a shark. I'm not sure. I don't understand. But hopefully that means something to you, Jeff, if you're watching. Amelia White says, hey Mark and Ben, loving the nerdy talk while doing programming assignments in the second year of uni. Also, cheeky shout out to my friend Caro. Hello, Caro. Amelia says hello. Yucks donated. Well, he topped up his donation up to $65. So keep up the good work and fuck cancer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer.
Cancer's a dick. Thomas the Poor donated. Despite being Thomas the Poor, world renowned for being very poor, he managed to find $35 to donate to charity. Thank you very much.
If Thomas the Poor can do it, so can you.
Well, as long as you can afford it. Like, don't bust yourself over it. A birthday, Christmas gift to myself, he says. A donation to Cancer Research UK. Be positive, everyone. Toxicity is such an ugly trait. You're very right. Choco donated. My God, Mark ruining the Jingle Jam with his face. Love you really, lesson 3. Oh, Choco. Cheeky Choco. Josh donated. Thanks for all your hard work. You're welcome, man. Thank you for donating. Josh has asked if you're excited for your new series of Critical Role.
I am actually, yeah. No, it's definitely looking forward to it. It's one of those funny ones where, because I know Matt, the GM, as a personal friend, like, he's kind of told me a bunch of things that he's planning. So I have a little bit of insider info. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what he's going to do with that. I think he's kind of had a similar thing that we've had with High Rollers, in that he really didn't expect Critical Role to become the huge, ridiculous success it is. So this is a chance for him to kind of come in fresh, and because they started their campaign streaming from level 10, I think it was. So they were like halfway through their game that they've been playing off camera, and then suddenly they've trying to introduce these characters and explain everybody and stuff. So I think it'll be interesting for them to go back to the start, basically.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, I've now fixed the leaky water issues.
Perfect.
And everyone's
just like, there's just so many donations. Iwan, Jickit, Kurt, Mark Fletcher, all say, keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
AC3XJ. He's trying to. Well, that sounds like a mech if ever I heard one.
Sounds like
says,
a Star Wars
games for charity.
Nice.
Lobo wishes us all a Merry Christmas. Hoyt says but. He likes butts. Cannot lie.
These messages. Great.
Gorgonzola III, son of Brienne of Stilton, Earl of Cheddar, says, smell the cheese. Long live the cheese. Is that a thing? Is that a reference?
I don't think so. I think that's just like a family motto. It sounded like
that is the words of House
Cheese.
House Cheddar.
House Cheds.
Wow. Nice. So good. I Stanley says less than 3.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Anonymous, keep up the good work. Silly Sausage. Just want to say great job you guys do. I'm curious about Yogscast 2 game system for stats. I want to run a similar game with my friends.
That was Tom, right?
Yeah, well, me and Tom made that.
Oh, you and Tom as well. Oh, shit.
So search the Yogscast Reddit because someone asked me about that like a year or two ago, and I posted up a link for him to download the notes we made about the rules and the character sheets. So you should be able to just find it on the Reddit and download it.
Because it was kind of like a very minimalized sort of like standard RPG system.
Really,
like
really simplified RPG because we didn't want to get bogged down in stats and dice rolling.
Yeah.
I can't remember most of it now.
Yeah.
But it's on the Reddit.
There's another thing. If you can't find it on the Reddit, there are tons of really good sort of lighter RPG systems now that are coming out that aren't as like dice and rules heavy as D&D. There's a lot of like the Powered by the Apocalypse system and stuff, which is much more about storytelling and less about dice rolls and rules. So you can easily find something to suit your needs.
That's something that always puts me off. I know a lot of people love it. It's fair enough. It's good for them. But for me, a lot of role-playing systems break down when you get into combat, and you just spend like 45 minutes rolling to hit, rolling to wound, making saves, and it's just, ugh.
Yeah, even speaking as somebody who loves Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition and runs a regular Dungeon combat can really slow it down. And again, if you've got players that all know what they're doing and they know all their abilities and they're quick, it's fine. It can go really quick. When you have that player, or you have people that aren't paying attention, or you have somebody who's a little bit unsure or isn't very good at making quick decisions, it really slows it down, man. Like, it really kind of... and you've got to have very patient players to be able to kind of just carry on going, which luckily we do.
But each their own, because some people love that. They love the whole like Diablo style, kill the monster, get the loot.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, I think that's like another thing as well, is it depends on the group, right? Because, you know, when we play, like, you take somebody like Tom Hazel, who's in High Rollers, and he often will do things that are absolutely not optimal in terms of combat. Like, he'll do stuff that is funny or will suit his character. And they might not be the most optimal things, but they're fun, right? And then that creates an interesting thing. Whereas I tend to be a bit more of a sort of like traditional gamer in that I'll try and make sure whatever I'm doing will have the best outcome kind of
use
thing.
your powers in combination, get
in the right combination and synergy and stuff
get the
like
best
that.
like stats going.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a difficult thing to do in role-playing games, is to play optimally, as most gamers want to do.
Yeah.
But also
Still
to
be a
role-play
character.
within your character.
Yeah.
I find the hardest thing for me in role-plays is to separate what I know from what my character knows.
Metagaming, it's super hard.
Because it's like, if I'm really familiar with the world, like I'll be able to guess and predict stuff, but I have to keep reminding myself, shit, my character doesn't know what a level 20 demon is, or like whatever the hell.
The other way you can always do that, like I tend to do that as because me and Trot have the same problem, because Trot DMs quite a bit. He DMs a little bit off game for D&D 5th edition, so he knows most of the monsters, and he'll like be like, oh, I know that this thing.
I know
its
weakness,
or
and
I
like
know this weakness,
what its attack pattern is, or
exactly,
whatever.
or you know, or like, oh, it's got this special attack, or it does this much damage, or it has this many hit points. So the other way you can either do it is you either have to play an idiot who absolutely goes against all that, and you just don't play optimally, or play a highly intelligent character who can justify like
You've
saying
got a good
like,
reason for knowing this
I have a
stuff.
very good reason for knowing this because I've studied monsters and things like that. So that's a way around it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it is a tricky one, and it's one that I don't think any real system solves wonderfully well. But it's not entirely undealable with. But yeah, the metagaming thing is always a struggle. It's always funny, like, whenever I've done D&D, even when I was playing it back at home, you'd have that moment where the DM goes like, oh, are you sure you want to check this thing? And then suddenly everyone's like, well, maybe I'm not so sure anymore.
Or the moment he starts like, oh, okay, and flips to another page in the book, you're like, no, change my mind.
Change my mind. Well, the other one we have as well is because in D&D you have perception skill, basically. Like, if you spot stuff,
make a perception check.
And it's like,
makes everyone shit their pants immediately.
Yeah, and it's like, as soon as you utter the words like, make a perception check, they all roll really badly. Oh, you don't see anything. I'm going to make a perception check.
I'm going to check for traps, I'm going to look for treasure, secret doors.
So what I've started trying to do, and I'm definitely going to do this in the new campaign, is I just don't ask them for perception checks anymore. I have like, because there's this thing called passive perception, so you can like just basically know how aware they are of stuff.
Okay.
And unless they say, oh, I want to start searching this because it sounds suspicious, then you just basically never ask for checks and then see if they pick up on it. Because that is really annoys me, is like, man, not to name and shame, Kim is terrible for that sometimes. Like, I love her to bits, but sometimes I'll do things like, oh yeah, like you don't see anything, or like, so I'll whisper, like, I'll go over to Trot and like I've cast some spell on him and I'll whisper. And then Kim's like, I don't trust him anymore. Insight checks.
I know, it's really hard to pull off. Well, the way Tom used to do it when I was role playing with him back in the day was I mean, it was a lot of work and it was hard to keep doing, but he would randomly pass people notes that just say, like, don't react. This is not a note.
Yeah.
Like, or he would just make dice rolls behind his screen.
Dice rolls is the one I do quite frequently.
But for no reason.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he'd make a check to see if you set off a trap or find a secret door.
And
but you wouldn't be able to tell which rolls were real and which ones weren't.
That's like my favourite trick.
That really helped with the metagaming thing. Yeah. Because you just stopped paying attention to it after a while.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like and also it's just really funny. Like the whole rolling dice behind the screen for no reason and just watching all the players shit themselves and like, what's going on? Why is he rolling dice? And you're like, no reason.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Just you guys carry on.
Just keep walking down that ancient tomb. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Yeah, the notes one's a really good one. It's just you've got to have a lot of notes.
Yeah, like a post-it pad is quite.
Post-it pad, and you just sit there and you're like, nothing. Do not react to this.
Or just smile. Smile creepily.
Yeah. I think I did that. There was a couple of times, I think we did it in some one-shots where it's very useful if you have like a villain or an enemy that uses a lot of like mind fuckery, like lots of enchantments and stuff like that, or like madness, and you can just pass notes to people that say like, you think you've just, like you pass notes to everybody in the group, and some of them it's just like, oh yeah, you're starting to feel a bit cold or whatever, or something like that, like some sort of like little roleplay hint, but then one person gets the one of like, you swear you just saw such and such put something in their bag, and then they suddenly start acting more paranoid, or you can start saying, you know, putting sort of suggestions in them and stuff like that.
Awesome.
That's always really funny.
How do I use this cleaning stuff?
So get the water on the brush, and then you work up the brush into a lather. And around the brush, and then you just clean it off, and it should clean most of the paint and help keep it into a neat point.
Ooh la la.
It's not too expensive as well. I think I bought this from an art shop here in Bristol. They had some. It's normally used for like, you know, proper artists with like acrylics and stuff, I think. It works quite well for miniature brushes as well.
Yeah, seems to do the trick.
It's also just a way to keep them in better nick as well, so you don't burn through brushes as quickly, because I used to be terrible for buying brushes.
Makes it taste weird.
Yeah, it does, unfortunately.
You didn't warn me.
It taste
You didn't warn me about the weird taste.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
You
I should have
poisoned
known.
me.
You're a fellow licker, I should have known. Because I've gotten used to it now. It just tastes soapy.
Man, I'm going to get roofied now.
Wow.
I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah. Do you like hanging out with you, Ben? Taking you home with me. You're going to come live with me now.
Oh, no. In the paint dungeon. We're already in the paint dungeon.
In the paint dungeon.
I'm not getting out of here, am I?
No. I'm going to make you paint all of my stuff because you're really good. You're like, right, here's the next batch. Get
back to work, paint bitch.
Get this new Guild Ball team painted for me by tomorrow. Do it.
Oh man, I'm doing my most hated painting now.
Yeah.
Painting cloth.
Oh, I like cloth's all right. I don't mind cloth. Flesh and cloth I quite actually enjoy.
Oh man, we should swap.
Swap, and you can.
I'll do your armor and
you can do all the edge highlighting because I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, I'm doing the Space Marine Scouts. They've got like, they only have half armor on, and they've got like fatigues in between the like armor plates, and they look cool once they're painted. But like,
are you going to try and do like any camo patterns?
I'm doing it like a khaki color.
Khaki color.
Can we see that? Actually, I've got one on cam. Can cam see?
Get a zoom in.
No. Steve's gone.
I think I made the wise choice picking a big miniature because it's a bit easier to see what I'm doing.
Ah, it's back. Right, can we see that? Oh, it doesn't help that I've got like a coloured background. Like, if I put it behind the white tissue, does that help? No, it's still pretty shady. So like he's basically got like sleeves and trousers that I'm going to do like in a khaki beige. Which offsets with the green armour quite nicely, I think. You can't really see. We should have tested this camera better. It's not ideal. I think
next time definitely get one lower and closer. I think probably what might be a better idea is having sort of one for each person, and then being able to cut to, because you can get a nicer angle on it. I have like it's quite weird, like you know the little the little Logitech webcams that a lot of streamers use. For my setup at home, I actually just have one of those on like a little bendy arm.
Is that good enough up close?
So yeah, so it's really good actually, because you can adjust the focus manually on it, and you can adjust the sharpness as well. So I've got mine, and it's with the right lighting. It's you can see pretty much most of the detail as you're painting, and like if you want to show anything off, it works really, really well. And you just get them on little bendy arms, so you can angle them. I have like mine, so if I'm painting like this, my camera's like that and it looks this way, and then that way I can kind of turn and show it off as I'm painting. It works really well. But
yeah, we'll try that.
Yeah,
next time.
If we do like another games
time.
night, yeah.
Let us know if you like this. Let us know if it's better than just Office Cam.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'd be good to get more peeps in as well, like we did for the games night videos, just having a few people sort of chilling and chatting.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like you or anything, it's
just could do with some more people in here.
Just get some more people. No, it's fine. But yeah. Or even just for other games night videos as well, because people did seem to enjoy it. Just the old chill and chat.
Yeah, we need to do more Warhammer paints and games.
I definitely need to play some more games. I've still not played a proper game of 40k.
Right.
I've done like a couple of little bits at home just to teach myself the rules, but I've not played any proper full games yet.
I need to get in. The my codex is out really soon. So my overpowered super force that everyone says in comments.
I can't believe people think that. It's just like, it really isn't.
There were so many comments going, "Oh, Ben's army's so OP, what a fucking try hard." It's literally the starter set.
Yeah.
I painted up the starter set.
And honestly, in terms of rules, it is not that overpowered.
Like, in fact, the latest version of like the rules came out recently, and in the new codex, most of my models are 2 points cheaper than they were. So apparently everyone thought they were underpowered and needed to be made cheaper.
Well, the thing is like, because we were talking about it, right? Like, the idea is that this is Games Workshop nerdery for you. But the thing with Primaris Space Marines is they're more expensive than a regular Space Marine.
Yeah.
But they, in terms of attacking and stuff, they're really not that much better.
They don't have much more. Basically, they were nearly twice the price of a regular Space Marine.
Yeah.
And they were a lot tougher, but they had not really much more of a damage output.
Yeah.
So you were always better off just taking 2 regular Marines.
Because then you get 2 wounds and twice as many attacks.
And twice as many shots. And you got 2 models on the table, which is like, in some cases, a lot better.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, in the game that you guys did on Games Night, there was a lot of unlucky dice rolling.
I rolled amazing dice.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it look overpowered. It's like you're rolling really well.
Lewis was rolling bad.
Lewis was rolling bad.
And he wasn't in a great position, stuck between the 2 of us.
Yeah. And he had a fast-moving unit with like all of Duncan's stuff, and then you've got fairly solid, survivable troops.
Well, see, he kind of got hammered and anviled. I was the anvil, and Duncan was the hammer.
Yeah, and that's exactly the sort of like perfect blend, right? Like, with Space Marines, you kind of want to kind of have that sort of stuck in the middle. Because the problem is like Necrons are really good at surviving as well, but one of the things is they need to kill quickly, otherwise you just basically can get the points over them and stuff like that. You can secure objectives.
And once you've wiped a Necron unit out, it can't come back.
So you just concentrate fire.
So yeah, it was being stuck in the open in the middle meant that we could concentrate on single units and wipe them out before they could like regenerate.
Yeah. And it was harder for him to do that because obviously he's got multiple things on multiple angles.
Yeah.
You've got to concentrate fire really.
And he didn't want to just pick on one of us. He wanted to like sort of spread the fire out.
He's got to kind of spread it out and attack both sides. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the scenario was a real setup. Like Lewis had no chance basically from the start. We didn't realize
we engineered it to win.
We haven't played enough of the game. No. So we thought it would be fine, but it turned out way more one-sided than
expected.
Intended.
Yeah.
But we just haven't played enough of it. We don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Making it up as we go.
Well, I think with this guy, and if I paint up some more Fire Warriors, I should have close to, I think, sort of 800-900 points. So I've got a fair bit available.
Small games going.
Yeah.
I think about half the people who signed up for this painted like 3 or 4 models and then gave up.
Yes. Or even didn't even start painting. They like built and then gave up. It's a hobby, It's
if you're not enjoying it, then don't force yourself.
And I think it's one of those things as well as like it all sounds really good, but like, oh yeah, we're going to play these games. I'm going to build this army, and you're building the army lists, and then when you've actually got to buy it all and build it all and paint it all,
you realise actually
you're
this
like,
is a lot.
No, actually I'm okay. I can just play video games.
Yeah, which are basically the same but easier.
Yeah. Not quite as satisfying in my opinion, but. There's something, I love the social element of tabletop gaming and wargaming as well. Like it's really nice just getting a bunch of people together and spending the afternoon playing games.
Yeah. Yeah, I much prefer board. Like if I can play a board game with a group of people, rather than a video game, I will. But it's so much harder to organise. But
yeah, and obviously there's like different types of video games that you can't really simulate in board games as well. Like occasionally I'll just get like, I really want to play an FPS.
Yeah.
And so
there's no board
you're
game
not going to be able to
equivalent
do
of
that. So I can just jump on PUBG or whatever and play that, or play whatever's out at the moment. But yeah, it is quite nice. I wish Nina was more into board games. She's very much we are a non-gaming
couple.
She likes a few things, but it's generally I play it with friends.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think
and she'll watch.
That's often the case. Minsk has donated $20. Minsk.
Oh wow.
Says, I already have the bundle, but here's another $20 for Mark and Ben's giant robot talk, being everything I love about mechs. But which side did you get?
No, Minsk. We need to know whose side are you on.
You follow the Ben school of mech design,
or the
Weeby school?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. That's it, yeah. Like I can't get away from that.
Well,
I'm going to embrace it.
I can't see chat though, so
yes.
Shit.
That's one thing I think. Like for if we do another one of these at any point, definitely have some chat on the window as well.
Yeah, Steve, is there can we get chat up as an overlay on this, or is that like does that involve unplugging the lights or something? I don't know. If you can do that, Steve, I'd love it.
Just because for painting, it's really nice to be able to just see general chat as well.
Garuga Travis says, "Please, Phil McCracken."
What? Phil McCracken?
Yeah, Phil McCracken. It's like a Simpsons-esque.
Oh, it
joke.
sounded very innuendo-esque.
Yeah.
I was like, Phil your Kraken?
Fill it in.
Fill that Kraken in, yeah.
We got Hiccup donated. So I've been watching you guys since 2009. Oh my god, that's creepy because I've only been on YouTube like a year. Worrying. It's been an amazing, wonderful ride, and I hope you continue to make content as long as possible.
When did you join the company then?
3-4 years ago.
3-4 years ago.
I wasn't in stuff.
No.
For a long time.
Yeah, you were mainly working behind the scenes. I think when I first joined, you were starting to do a little bit more, where you'd pop up here and there.
Yeah, when we just didn't have enough people.
Well, yeah.
If we got 4 people for GTA, we need 6 to make these game modes work.
Fucking Ben, get in here.
Ben, we're gonna scrape the bottom of the barrel. You're it. Get in a seat. And then finally, Caleb Anderson donated £26 for charity. £26 for charity. Thanks for all the goodies. And I'm going to mark all these as red. Maybe we've got some more.
People are so goddamn generous.
I know, man. We're doing it. We're fucking saving the world here, guys.
Saving the goddamn world.
Well, you guys are. We're just painting models and licking paint.
Yeah.
What a world.
What a wonderful world.
Oh, I should have cleared these all off before. I was just reading them and not clearing them. So now I've got to go through them all and like individually mark them as red so more will appear.
Yeah.
That's how the system works. A little peek behind the scenes for you there. We're going to pull back the curtain and reveal how I don't understand my own system. Boom, boom.
If you want to do some painting, I can take over for a bit on the old green donations. Because my back is starting to go as well, leaning over.
Cool. You keep ticking them off then until you get to the last thing I read.
I'll clean my brush while
you got to wait for a couple of seconds, or it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's fine. So Ben Clark donated. Love what you guys are doing. Did you read that guy?
Yeah.
Jordan Theobald. Do you remember him? Okay, so this seems like a new one. So 65 added up to their donation, so they've increased it. Thankfully, I'm a lazy bastard, so I have the time to be able to get up at 4 a.m. to watch from Australia. Looking forward to another fantastic Jingle Jam and many more to come. So thank you very much, Jordan. Just let my paintbrush there. Chen donated. Chen loves surprises.
Oh, Chen.
Chen. Kibush, you are absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much. Anonymous. Awesome thing everyone is doing. GG, games and giving. Thank you very much. Chip Muncan, one nut. Charity, woo! Woo! Alexander Franzen, thanks! Or thank you. Jackson Barker, love the cause. You guys do great things. Thanks for all the laughs. Brutal Moose, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Brutal Moose. Arvid Eriksson donated a hundo. Hundo! Thank you everyone for the years of entertainment. You are more than welcome, Arvid. And then Platinum donated with a love heart. Thank you very much.
Oh, less than 3.
Renz donated. Hi guys, you're doing fantastic like always. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Renz.
Thank you.
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
I'll show you my grandfather. Power the dark side.
That mask voice is so dumb.
It's better than Bane though, isn't it?
It's better than Bane, yes, because it had like some decent effects to it rather than just being.
Born in the darkness.
It's so bad.
Oh my god, that needed fucking subtitles, didn't it? I hate it. Hate it.
Morgana donated. Merry Christmas, guys. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Callum donated, just saying Davies.
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 Shout out to Davies.
Fighter of the Night V's.
Oh, speaking of Always Sunny, did you see Kieran's tweet?
No.
He's done an amazing tweet. Go check out Kieran on Twitter.
What, Kieran is in Ciranu?
Kiranu. At Kiranu with a C.
I'll have to check that out
Very
afterwards. Great stream. Good luck with my name. Tliti. Do more poker and games night stuff. It's gold. Well,
Poker's on the way, boys.
Poker's on the way.
Next week.
And I think there's going to be some more board games. I'm away this weekend, but I think Tom's doing some board games.
Tom's doing some board games, and I'm doing some board games the week after. So every Sunday,
Nice.
board games.
Yep. Net neutrality will affect us all. Help US fix it. Good talk. Love you all. Merry Christmas. Yeah.
I wish I could.
Yeah, I wish I could, but if you're in the US, definitely fight for that.
Get
net
involved
neutrality.
in net neutrality. It's important.
George Boyer added $5 to the donation. Let's do this for Harry.
Harry!
Our incels donated.
Fucking incels. Holy shit.
Thanks all of you incels on our incels there. Just with 3. Miko, love you. It's a lot of love yous. Thank you, Miko.
Lovely.
Daywalker, have a Merry Christmas time. Hope you're enjoying the Blade franchise, Daywalker. Pommy Mize, keep up the good work. Nika, will ISB be joining you for the stream? Not this one.
Not this one.
Is he a fan? I don't know. Does he play Warhammer? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. He's doing a stream with Harry.
He's doing a stream with Harry. Of course he is. The little
Barry boys.
Little lovely couple.
They are. They're a fun little couple, aren't
They're
they?
two fun little boys. Nika, thank you very much for the donation. Cinnamon, happy holidays. Happy holidays to you. Rhett Flanagan, again, I think. It's good to see such a big bundle going to completely to charity. Also, great game selection. Jack Rogers, keep up the good work. Best wishes from Australia.
Australia?
That's
the
mate.
home of Bunnings. Where's savings?
Bunnings.
That's just the beginning. Maybe we can get a sweet Bunnings deal.
What is that, like a hardware store?
Yeah. It's a meme.
Is it a meme?
It's my first meme.
Is it your first meme, Ben?
It's not my meme. I just jumped on the meme wagon.
You jumped on the meme wagon. Jinx donated. Merry shitscram, y'all. Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you for donating.
Rico, keep up the good work. I love TTT and GTA series of vids.
Perfect.
The TTT stuff was actually one of the series that I was watching before I started. Like, I love the TTT stuff. I always loved it.
Do you like the new roles?
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of the newer ones. I think I watched a couple with the Jester in. I don't know if you've added any more after the Jester.
Yeah, there's a Jester, there's a Survivalist, and there's a Phoenix.
Shit, no, I've not seen any of these.
And when we first implemented them, everyone was like, "You've ruined everything!"
Ruined it!
And then, like, we took them off for a session with Sips. And
Yeah.
everyone's immediately going, "Bring back the Jester! You've ruined it again!"
Classic.
So do enjoy the old YouTube comments.
Yeah,
That's quite
it's always
fun.
funny. Zunhead donated, keep up the good work. Goose Master, it's time to goose.
Oh man.
Goddamn, I love the Jingle Jam, keep it up.
Time to goose.
Time to goose. I only know that from Pyrrhian's stream, and it makes me laugh.
What did he do goosing?
I don't know, like I think it's one of his donation emotes or like sounds that when somebody donates or subs,
Nice.
it just says that, and it just always makes me laugh. Zero donated. Keep up the great, amazing work for charity. Angry Dank donated. Doing well. Let's reach 5 million this year. That would be amazing.
Oh man, I hope and pray. 5 mil is my dream.
Save the dream. Save the dream. Save the rebellion. God, he was bloody rubbish in Rogue One.
Oh, he
Saw
was, wasn't he?
Gerrera.
Well, they obviously reshot shitloads of it because in the trailers he had completely different hair.
Yeah. It was
So they
completely
completely changed whatever he was doing, and,
Yeah.
and it didn't work.
It was just not even a likable character. He was just this horrible.
Who the fuck was he? Because he basically just turned up and was like, "I don't believe you. I'm dead now. I'll die for no reason.
Yeah.
I could easily get on this spaceship, but I won't.
And I love the way that they've shoehorned him into stuff like Rebels and like all the games at the moment. Like they're like really trying to get the like, oh no, he's an important person. Old Saw Gerrera.
Should have made him better. Like
useless.
Fucking shit.
Save the dream.
And his weird tentacle mind monster that had no bearing on anything like that. If you're gonna start cutting shit,
they could have just interrogated Bodhi. They could have just like seen him dragged away.
Yeah, just
to be
done a creepy
interrogated.
probe droid with a syringe,
Yeah.
and then shut the door.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh,
A repurposed Imperial interrogation droid.
yeah,
done.
or just have, you can put a rubber glove on and grab a thing. Like,
Yeah,
there's
that
a
would
million
have
ways
been
to do it.
enough.
It's a fucking weird monster that makes him stupid, but not really because he gets over it
He
immediately.
gets over it instantly.
Ugh.
Ugh. Yeah. I liked a lot of things in Rogue One.
Yeah, me too. But
that was not one
that
of
whole
them.
thing was shit.
I'm going to rattle through. We've got like... Was that Steve?
Oh, we're
Time to
done.
wrap up.
Shit,
Yeah, I was going to say,
paintlessing party's over.
I wasn't sure if we go to 2 or if we finish and then do ads. So, there you go.
There we go. We're done. Thank you to
Done.
everyone who watched.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who donated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to
Hope
everyone
you enjoyed
who
this little
spammed Bunnings.
Bunnings,
That was really
Bunnings.
important.
You loved it.
We
didn't
couldn't
you?
have done it without you.
Savings everywhere.
We're going to get some art stream
Yeah,
with
so I
like
think-
Kieran and Harry. And
Yeah, they're not going to be on voice comms. I think they're literally streaming their screen, so they're going to be working because they've got stuff to do.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be like streaming their screens.
We've got to catch up from the party yesterday.
Yeah, they've got a lot of work to do from cocktails. So they're going to be doing that, and then it's TTT from 5 until late.
Well, it won't be TTT the whole time.
No.
We won't do 6 hours of TTT.
No.
That'd be madness.
It's Gmod themed.
So it's Gmod stuff. So we'll do some TTT. We'll probably do some prop hunt. We might do some building.
Oh, a bit of prop hunt.
Yeah,
I've seen that in a
haven't done
while.
that for ages.
Yeah,
So
fucking love
6
prop
hours of
hunt.
Gmod, starting at 5.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this little chill stream with just me and Ben painting some miniatures. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I done loads of progress that I never would have got done otherwise.
Yeah, you did a big red robot.
Did my big red robot. So yeah, thanks very much, guys. Thank you for all your donations throughout the Jingle Jam. Hopefully, let's hit that 5 million.
Woo! We made pie though. Fucking
Made
pie.
pie.
Pie
Made
million.
Pie million. And look at that, nearly at 3150 as well.
Nearly at boobs.
Nearly at
Keep your name for
boobs.
boobs.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. It's a really slow transition.